Dun, 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 dun. The Motley Crew is here to entertain you for another Photo Lounge Live general discussion. And this is truly a general discussion. We've been kind of prepping ourselves in the last 20 minutes or so to see where we're going to go with the show. And we will talk about, obviously, some rumors and some gear that has already been released and is out there and has been discussed on YouTube from other channels who spend a lot of time doing gear reviews. And but we also had, it's good to see that Gustavo made it back from Iceland. I told him it was nice to see that he didn't float back as a block of ice and had to get thawed out in order to come on the show. He actually was able to go on an airplane and get home. So that was bonus. So we got, a pretty good agenda for tonight. And I'm going to, before we get too deep here, I am going to put in the link in the chat in case there is somebody that wants to join the panel. Come on, let me paste you in here, baby, and send it out. Boom. So there's the link for the show for anybody who wants to be daring and is brave enough to be squashed in here with the rest of us. And we will try to be nice. If we're in the mood, we'll be nice to you. So we have Robert Rosado is here. So and Robert Varner's here. And we only have 4 people so far, so we're not going to get into any serious discussion yet. But we are going to talk about some of the we're going to talk about the new Tamron 12 to 20 millimeter lens that people are talking about. Some are excited about it. Well, most seem to be pretty excited about it, but I do have at least one specific question I'm going to ask David. But speaking of David in Canada, I do want to comment, David, that I really don't appreciate that you guys are choking my children in Connecticut with the smoke from your fires because they can't breathe anymore. I mean, can't you keep the smoke in your neck of the woods instead of sending it this way?
Well, it seems to be revenge. Some years that the smoke goes north and buggers us up, and some years the smoke goes south and buggers you up. We're just getting back at you. But from what I hear, there are hundreds of U.S. firefighters in Ontario fighting their fires, and I would blame them for not doing a good job.
Not for the health. Not for the health.
We saw the photographs. All of them, they were blowing southway.
Yeah, they're blowing the smoke the wrong way,
Well, I'm going to start a conspiracy theory that everyone in Canada has those little battery-operated fans, and they're all aiming the smoke towards the United States right now.
That's why they take revenge. They take revenge for
the eastern United States.
Only the eastern United States, yeah.
All the Democratic states, they're smoke-free from us.
Yes.
Yeah, but Connecticut's a Democratic state, and you're choking my kids right now. They got to wear masks. So we're getting a few more people here. We're up to 8. Well, of course, that's counting those of us on the panel. So why don't we at least go around the panel, see what everybody's been up to. Some of us have been on some exciting trips. Yeah, there it is. This guy right there. Others, we're just surrounded by stuff, not doing nothing much of anything. But let's start with Roy and work our way around. Roy, how you doing, my friend?
I'm much better. Over the surgery, steadily getting better. Been playing with action cameras instead of cameras.
Yeah,
you gonna be a spokesman for GoPro?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I'll get over them. I'm just desperate to use anything.
That's very good, Roy. That's very good. That's what we want to hear. And for you, everybody has to know, Chuck is in the background. He's trying to join, but he's dealing with some technical issues, I presume. So when I see him coming into the video, I will bring him forward. Okay. So keep an eye on that one, Jeff. So keep an eye on the chat. Okay. So when
Yep.
Chuck goes through his issues, then I bring him into the panel. All right. So Mr. Stewart, you now.
Yes, me. Well, this week I attended the Canadian Association of Photographic Arts, and that was the entire week. And they had a preliminary judging course that I just finished, and it had finished today. And it was a grueling course because we had all of these photos that we had to evaluate, including these birds. And a lot of people didn't realize that herbivores see sideways, and they say, "Oh, that bird's not looking at me." Oh, yes, it was, because that's where the eye was, you know. And you gotta train them on things like that. But anyway, it's and I did get to use the Sigma 300 to 600 on my ZF. And man, is that a nice piece of glass.
Wow.
It with an adapter, like I had the L mount, and it focuses fast. You know.
How heavy is it?
Well, for me, it's not heavy. You know, I don't mind. Yeah, but
Well, that's always tended to be one of the things that people complain about for whatever reason, true or indifferent, that their lenses are heavier than most.
well, yeah, and that was a problem with an awful lot of the people around. Is they were wanting lighter and lighter stuff, you know, and I'm sure there's people that their cell phone is too heavy, you know, but we won't go there, you know. But you know, it's like I don't mind the weight. If you want the quality that lens has, you'd.
And for the price.
Oh, the price is really good.
That's that.
You know, it was I think it was 9K Canadian.
I tell you what, the only thing that bothers me is that white color. Ugh.
Oh, that bothers me too, because that's. But you know,
you can use a
they
skin.
make covers. You know,
Hey, but it stays cooler to the touch when it's a real hot day, though. It reflects the light.
That is true.
It reflects the light, and then it goes right into the bird's eyes, and you know.
Oh yeah.
And you have highlights and how you can save it.
Yeah.
But that's a great
You
experience.
can buy skins for these lenses, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Yeah, and that would be one of the first things I would do if I bought the lenses. But it's not a range that works for me. But man, was I ever impressed with how fast it focuses.
So compare with the 600 TC, correct?
It's almost as fast.
Is the same light or
It's heavier than the 600 TC.
Okay.
But not significantly, you know.
Oh?
And what I suggest, if anybody wants to buy that, is not only buy a gym membership, but show up to the gym on the right day. You know,
They didn't clarify that on the signing.
There's no fun actually showing up and having to do the work.
They didn't clarify you have to be there.
yeah, you have to be there, and you want to use some weights, you know. But it's
Too late.
yeah. But if you improve your upper body strength, then you'll have no problem aiming it and holding it. But like I was impressed with it.
No.
And it's considering I was using an adapter and I had it on my ZF.
You should have brought some photos.
Well, I didn't. I just took some test shots. I borrowed the thing for about 15 minutes and 10, 15 minutes, and that was it. And I had to make arrangements with the Sigma representative, because we had representatives from Sigma and Tamron, and I think there's a company called Canon. I think that's what they're called.
Ooh.
There was anyway. There's Fuji was there, and Sony was there, and we had a couple of others. But one thing I found out from Tamron is they're going to stop producing primes because they're going to stay with zooms, whereas is Sigma, they've they had a new president back in, I think it was 2019, and his attitude is I want to compete with the OEMs on an equal basis. I'm not happy to be third party, and that's how come we had the Sigma art, and they're starting to do that with everything. But when I have a look at what the 300 to 600 is like, it's for the price, it's less than half of the 600 TC, and if that's the focal range that you want, that'd be the lens to get. You know.
All right, that's cool.
And I'm just waiting until it comes out in the Z mount, which from what I understand is that they're talking to Nikon about doing.
Oh, that would be cool.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So you say so you don't have any bruising on your body from when you tried to take the files from using that lens and running away with them. They tackled you and they erased your card and you survived.
I had no problem with them. It's with borrowing the lens and all the rest of that stuff, and it's they were really nice. They had one on display, and I think at the entire show I was the only one that used it. And they had the adapter there and everything else, so that you could go ahead and they had their representative, and he was very, very knowledgeable.
Here's a question here for you, David. I put up.
The answer, I think, to this is yes. Yeah. But they have to come up with an agreement with Nikon about doing that. But they're working towards it, and that's what I understand.
all right, that's cool.
Enough. Mr. Terry, how you doing?
Well, I'm all right. Nothing much, just a desperate attempt for astrophotography last night. The clouds go there before us. But we had fun. Nothing more than that. Just playing, relaxing after culling my photographs.
Still got. I hear you still got 49,500 to go, but that's. How's everything here? Good.
Yeah. Before yesterday, I had my final test with the doctor. I said, "I'm alive. I'm all right. I can see." He told me that. That means he's fine. Yeah.
That's when you should have said to him, "Where are you?"
Yeah. Well, I told him that, but I touched him. I knew very well.
And here's the man in the yellow shirt.
Hey.
That doesn't say Nikon on it anywhere, does it?
Colorado.
It says
Now
Columbia?
he's thawed now after the ice. Now you see he's
Columbia.
soft and nice and red.
I need a picture now.
So you're going to have Gustavo. You got the floor here. We know you're going to have some things to talk about tonight that people are going to enjoy.
Yes.
So we don't want to get too much
I
away.
started my process of calling my photos, correct? So, and obviously the first 3 days it was rough with the jet lag, but it was a great trip. Some changes after only 2 years in Iceland. I will mention some of that. I have discussion with Terry, who was almost at the same time last time I went a couple of years ago. But no, the weather was good, and the usual combination of landscape and which is primarily what you do there, and but it's quite a bit of wildlife as well. So you will see some of that. Maybe I do a presentation on Iceland. For somebody wants to go back there. Certainly, we got enough sufficient experience here that we can do a good advice. And this time, I used some advice from Terry that proved very useful.
Now, when you went the first time, was it the same time frame on the calendar or different?
Yeah, it was almost the same time, but what I did this time, I moved it forward like a week and a half, 2 weeks, because obviously since I'm interested on some of the bird life as well, correct? I say, oh, maybe early, I got a little bit more flowers and a little bit more, some of the chicks are a little bit less developed, and it turned out to be the case. So that was a good prediction, and also for the flowers, right? The lupins, the lupins were incredible this time. I haven't shown you any of the picture, but there were a lot more. They were not yet putting seed, so it was good. So that definitely was good to go. And the only thing is, because we were just like a week and a half from the solstice, I mean, it was daylight every
day.
every day, every time. The sun
24 hours.
the sunset in some places, depending on where you are, because I think it's like the top of Iceland is like a 1 degree from the Arctic Circle. So it was like a sunset, 12:30, sunrise, 2.
1 o'clock.
Yeah, 2 in the morning. Yep.
So and and you have extend the blue hours when there is sunshine, and extend the golden hour when you have. But as Terry knows, weather there can be very changing, correct? So, but it was good. I will show you, Terry. I put an image for today. A big in a location that you visit. I mean, it was even with some blue sky. So, which the last time I saw like blue sky like a 1 day or patch blue, but it was okay, and the temperature was for me was great, right? So I will mention something about also the equipment, things that didn't work out, and what I ended using more. So that will be part of the contribution for today's show. So that's it from me.
Figure I'll make us a little bit bigger here, Gustavo,
Yes.
because so we could scare the audience more that way. Randall, what have you been up to, my friend?
Well, we've had a lot of rain and a lot of flooding.
Guadalupe River.
This is the first day where San Antonio didn't get it. Okay, but the west of us are just terrible. The rivers are rising and stuff. I had to stop shooting some for the past 2 or 3 days because it's been raining so much. I don't like getting my equipment wet, but I am working on this device right here, which you'll probably know. And it's the F-mount AFS Nikkor 200 millimeter F2 G2 ED. Yes, it's wonderful. So you'll be seeing some videos with this. And I had the 400 millimeter F2.8 and the 600 millimeter F4, all the F mount, all the top lenses.
And that lens, Randall, is a girl. Ashley, what was he called? Ashley Gilmore. Or?
You stole this from Ashley, huh?
No, she is actually a producer, actress, and also a director. And she thought it was too heavy and she wasn't using it. So she gave it to my candy store. I said, okay, I can use that. And so I'm going to put a lot of testing to it. It's a wonderful lens. F-mount is a little bit slow, but the picture quality is fantastic, and I love it.
Yeah,
So
Chuck has
you're
that
going to see
sitting
some
on his.
videos on it.
Chuck has that in his room. He has that same lens, if I remember right.
Yes.
And Roy, I'm sure you have it too, right?
No, it's one of the 2 lenses I never got around to buying.
Ah,
3.
So yeah,
You can see the adapter on there.
yes.
It's the F to Z2, so it doesn't have the neck on it, but
Yeah.
there's the Z8. And then now it doesn't come with the front lens cap, but it does come with the hood, which is cushioned. So
Yeah, but all these lenses, Randall, of that generation, have that hood system.
That is the
okay.
Yeah,
lens cap.
most of the big
Horrible.
lenses don't come with a lens cap anyway.
Now you
That is their
can.
lens cap.
Yeah, that was a lens cap for the 600, for the 400 2.8,
Yeah.
for the 500 f4, and the 600 f4. So you may find that some of the lens cap that are available now for the 800 PF and the 600 TC fit there, correct? So if you want to have a proper cap, I guarantee you that one of those will fit there. I can show you.
In a pinch, just use some
I hate to
silly
think of the
putty.
price.
Or a towel, just put it over.
Yeah, just take a towel. Yeah, throw a towel.
No, because you,
Yeah, that's why we make duct tape. We use it for that.
Yeah,
that's
they got
the
those.
Zemlo.
Yeah.
This is what's it called? Yeah, this is bioluminous.com. So
Okay.
I look at both. So because sometimes that soft cap, I barely use that one before
Drives
because
me mad.
it's a pain to put it on and take it off. Then it gets
Tell them
dirty.
how much that cap costs.
Yeah.
Tell them how much that one costs.
This one,
Yeah.
this one costs you like $80 or something like that.
Good thing we're sitting down. That isn't horrible. Actually, that's not horrible when you think about it at all.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Little ones are dearer.
I mean, we can check it out here. I think I bought these one from. You can even get it in B&H, correct?
Yeah.
So there is a couple of people, third parties, people that do what Roy does with the printing that produces this type of cap. It worked fine.
Yes.
I got that one for the 600.
Okay.
Anyway, so we digress went into that rabbit. But Randa, congratulations. That's a great lens.
you're gonna have fun with that. You're gonna have
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of fun with that.
So
I just want to. I think we acknowledge many people here. Drunk wedding photographers joined us. No wedding tonight. I guess to shoot. You're lucky. You're actually able to pop in and say hello. That's great. I hope you're doing well. We got Rakesh is here and Jim and
Steampunk.
away everyone. And so it's we got a decent crowd again, and hopefully we get a few more people in here tonight. And hello to Anita. She's telling us all to behave and not insult each other too much. We'll try not to.
Come on, we are boys.
For those in the chat, feel free to we're not doing any presentation tonight, so we've got news and rumors to talk about, Nikon stuff to talk about. Gustavo's recent trip to Iceland that he's going to talk about and share a few images. So we got a pretty good amount of stuff, and actually that's funny. The last time we had the general discussion, we didn't have any presentations for that show either, and I think we could have stayed on 2 more hours than the show was scheduled for. Because we were on a roll and everybody was participating, and it was a really good show. To put QQQ if you have any questions. in the chat. I got a comment on an old video from my channel when I had done a thanks for the memories episode on the 3D David White 3D camera.
Okay.
And so it's funny because I don't go back and look at stuff I did 6 months ago and see if somebody else left a comment, and I don't always get notified that somebody added a comment, but somebody did, and I read it and talked about that he does some of this the trimming of the slide film himself and mounting it in the particular 3D holders where you got the stereo pairs, as they call it, that get mounted side by side, or actually 2.5 inches apart, if I remember right. But anyway, so I decided to look a little bit online because I do have, that camera and it's in working order. And so I found a company called, if you go on studio3d.com, which I did, there's a company that will develop your Ektachrome slide film. I wrote to them and said, what would it cost if I had a 36 exposure roll of Ektachrome? And that would be $12. And the mounted pairs to have the stereo pair mounted varies between $2 to $3 per pair, depending on whether you do the cardboard mounts or the plastic. And so a 36 exposure roll gives you between 28 and 29 actual stereo pairs of images from that camera. So when you do the math, you're basically talking, if you own one of these cameras like I do and you want to try it out and send it out and have it come back, and it would be about $100. Cost you about $100, which, to do every once in a while, or to at least do it once, which I will do at some point in time, I'll spend $100 and do it. And the only sad thing is, I can enjoy the 3D image with my viewer, but you can't see it. So it'll bring joy to me, but I can't share that joy with anybody else, because you'd have to come visit me, and you can look through my viewer if you want, and then you can see it and enjoy it. But
I think about it, Jeff. I mean, if you do, let's say, a trip, and you take your camera, you have to really want to make the photo a fantastic landscape with a nice foreground. You take one pic. I mean, you have like beautiful images that, should be amazing, correct?
Yeah, I wish, a digital 3D camera would be,
well, that is, correct?
It'd be something that I might consider at some point. But it's really, really, the image is so much better than what we're taking with what our regular cameras are. I mean, it's just, you just have that separation, and you have it's just phenomenal. It really is. I mean, when I bought mine, one of the ones I bought came with probably 100 mounted stereo pairs, and I was able to put it through a viewer and look at it, and it just blows you away. Absolutely blows you away. But Robert,
That's good.
there you go. If you want to have permanent crossed eyes, they'll get stuck in that position. That's good. But it's something that if anybody else out there owns a 3D camera, I have a Kodak one too. There were many different brands from Germany that make 3D cameras, so I'm sure
And
for those who didn't even know there was a place that they could get the work done, that is the first place I found that will actually develop the film and trim it accordingly and mount it. So not bad.
And I was going to say exactly that. He's not joking. I mean, people like me that used to do a lot of stereo photography for geological work. Sometimes you can do it, right? It's just you have to learn how to make your eyes go. It hurts a little bit after a while, correct? But it hurts in terms of disconcert you, but it doesn't damage your eyes. You have to train yourself. But so it works. He said here, okay?
Yeah, I can do this. I can do the same thing, Gustavo.
Exactly.
Yeah, it just takes a bit of practice.
Yeah, you have to basically focus on something far away, so your eyes, instead of converging, are looking far.
Yeah,
And then
you got to separate them.
MVGA.
Yeah, but I think the other thing is Jeff. I think it's a good idea. Correct. I mean, Robert also suggested digitizing because obviously, I think. I mean, obviously, there is that Apple device, correct? The work, and I see the video that special video stereo camera, correct? And so eventually those headsets, the good ones, like the Apple ones, instead of being $3,000, maybe becoming more affordable, it will be something. But it still has it's a one individual experience, correct? Because it's you with your glasses. You cannot say, "Hey, invite somebody to use it," okay? But anyway, so challenge for you. I want to see you using one of those. I mean, it's fun, correct? It's fun.
Yes. The last thing on just general talk before we get into some of the rumors and whatnot is I'm sure many of you remember a friend of the channel that was on the channel when Chuck was doing the show, Mr. David Moots.
Yes.
Wildlife photographer. Okay, he's still doing wildlife photography. He emailed me earlier in the week, and he's still doing photography. He's kind of like not doing anything really with social media anymore. He doesn't.
Send us a photo for image review.
Yes, he took wonderful images. Oh, I'm sure he still does take wonderful images. No doubt about that. But anyway, he can't call. He emailed me to say hello, and then to throw out something that may be of interest to some people. He has the 600 F4 with the TC. He's had it for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
He is selling it. It's in like new condition. It has a skin on it. Has a Zemlin hood, the Zemlin lens cap. Has a replacement Arca Swiss foot on it. Has all the original accessories in the box, the original hood, the foot, the box, etc. And that camera new right now, it's on sale right now, $1,000 off, but the regular price is like $16,200 for that lens. Wow. And he's asking $11,500. So if anybody really had was twitching, do I want to spend $16,000 on a lens? Well, you could get, and I feel comfortable in saying that if you got anything from David and he says it's in fantastic shape, it's in fantastic shape. So if there is anybody on the channel or anybody that watches this video after the fact and has an interest in, wants to contact him, you can email me at my email address, and I will send you his phone number so you can contact him and have a discussion with him. But I figured, it was worth sharing with everybody because we do have a lot of people on this channel that do wildlife photography, and that's a good cost savings if you were considering buying that lens anyway. So you might want to take advantage of it. So
I think I remember he mentioned that at one point that he ended moving into the 400 2.8 because with the TC, correct? So that for him it works better to have the 400 than the 600.
Well, I'm not 100% sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think he was a two-brand guy for a while too, because I think he shot Sony as well, and he may have shifted predominantly with the Sony gear versus the Nikon gear. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that might be why he's getting rid of it too. I don't know, but it's irrelevant because, you know, the bottom line is he's a great photographer. He does great work. I don't, you know, doesn't matter to me what camera you use as long as it's good for you and you like it. That's all that matters, and you get good results. So, but anyway, Jeff and Leslie just popped in. He says he's helping his son move into his new my old house, as he words it. You could just say you're going to have an episode of This Old House. And it's going to be yours, and you're going to show you moving out and him moving in, and
Well, at least you're not living in the house and your kids are coming to move in with you, so that's a good thing.
Randall, you're making the hairs lift up on my back. Don't even. I don't even want to think those thoughts. But anyway, I hope everything went good with the move, and congratulations to your son and his family. So we're gonna just start with some of the rumors here. We'll start with Nikon.
So let
And
me
Gustavo, feel free to interrupt me at any point in time, and
we can put the little page there that I have.
you can bring your page up, and I'll have some stuff that I'll talk about that isn't on your cheat sheet that you put together, and we'll have stuff that complements each other with what you have on your cheat sheet. For those of you, aka our friend Paul, aka Scubarazzi, being underwater photographer, if you ever get a ZR, my friend, Iceland just came out with an underwater housing for the ZR, rated for 200 feet. And if you're a diver, the last thing you want to do is to go to 200 feet to begin with. So that's not a problem. It costs B&H's basically rounded up to $2,000, $1,995, which is not unusual for a underwater housing for any kind of camera. The housings are not cheap, and they are pretty complicated to make, and they're not something that they sell tens of thousands of. So they need to, make some money on it. Therefore, the high cost of underwater housings in general. But anyway, that is out there and available. I never heard of this lens manufacturer. Maybe they've been around for a while. I mean, obviously, I believe a Chinese lens manufacturer called SG Image. They came out with a 35 millimeter f2.2 autofocus lens for Z mount, and it is on sale at Amazon for $149 to $158, depending on the style of the lens chosen, because they have one that's like one of the Nikon lenses that has the metal circle around it that makes it look more vintage rather than all plastic, if you know what I'm talking about. And so that one's a little more expensive, but the plastic, the one that's all plastic material, is $149. And then Viltrox came out with a 28 millimeter f2.8 autofocus pancake lens for the Z mount. That was supposedly announced on the 15th of July. I didn't have time to go back and see if it happened or not, but I couldn't find the price on it. So if anybody knows what the price is on that lens, feel free to share it in the chat. There is a universal for those who shoot long videos or have the fear of certain cameras overheating. There's a company called Tilta, Tilta,
Yeah.
that has some cooling fans that are generic that will fit on different brand camera bodies, and specifically they called out for Nikon anyway, the Z30, the ZFC, and the ZF. The price varies because there's options to buy the cooling system only for $39, a power kit for $49, and an extra battery for another $15. So depending on what combination you want to get. but it's not overly expensive for those that don't have an issue with a fan, or if you're a fan of fans, then there you go. You can maybe get one for your camera. Financial commentary on the internet out there is that Nikon stock is up 28% year to date, so that's good. If you're someone who's invested in Nikon stock, I'm sure you're very happy right now. Tamron announced a 12 to 20 millimeter f2.8 zoom for a Z mount.
So let's finish with the Nikon first. Yeah,
Okay.
then we go to the others. Okay. So we can talk about. So let's go the first one in the list, and then we go to the second one, which is where we're going to put on some discussion. So this is a list that I put together. Actually, it was AI put together because I didn't have that much time, and I just arrived last Sunday. But actually, the list, after I checked with Jeff, it looks quite good. So the first item in the list is a Nikon quietly lists a Wi-Fi free C6 III. And apparently that appears in B&H and give you a price there. It was actually a little bit more expensive, but it was a camera especially designed for, let's say, government and places that didn't want to have the potential for any interference via Wi-Fi. And it was, I don't know, by mistake or not announced or put in B&H. They thought that they put it and see whether it was a need outside the government for that type of camera. But I think later on that was pulled out. Okay? So did you guys, this probably didn't happen, what happened when I travel. So do you have any comment on this? What do you think about that?
I did not notice it, to be honest with you.
I think it was in Nikon rumors because
I don't know. I mean, not being in a situation where I wouldn't want it, it doesn't matter to me.
It was probably a special issue, correct? It was more expensive with less capabilities, correct? So I see for the normal person, but probably not having a Wi-Fi prevent that from being hacked, correct? So anyway,
yeah, but it was built for government, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
that was the reason for. But it was put in B&H listed for public usage as well. I don't know, maybe a corporation or a company doesn't want to have Wi-Fi on the camera for whatever reason. So anyway, so interesting that obviously we know Nikon work with NASA, but obviously have worked with capable of creating special batches of cameras for a special institution. Okay. So anyway, so the second in the list, Jeff, is the one that you wanted to check, which is
the interesting thing with this lens is, like Matt Irwin did a video on it. There's at this point in time quite a handful of videos on this lens getting a lot of attention. I mean, they're saying it's a completely different build quality from what Tamron had done before. That it's significantly improved in terms of the build quality. It has a lot of switches on it to do different things. Tons of switches on it to do different things. It's being marketed as being ideal for astro night photography, interior shooting. Obviously, though, that range is also very good for landscape photography, which they didn't really promote it as, but you would think it would be ideal for landscape photography. It's got a voice coiled drive linear focusing motor, 12 blade circular diaphragm, flower shaped hood. It has a rear filter holder. You cannot put filters on the front of the lens. You have to get the rear drop-in filters. I'm assuming they're drop-in filters, but I'm not 100% sure. They just say that there is a rear filter holder, though. 17 elements, 12 groups. Supposedly suppresses peripheral blurring, color fringing, and sagittal coma flare, which is a big thing for astrophotography users. High sharp. Now they say high sharpness center to extreme edges, and on cost I put 14 to 1500 only because Sony rumors said it was half the price of the Sony 12 to 14, and that lens is 2882. But I didn't, maybe the official price is out now. I mean, Gustavo has about a bit above 1500, so it's in that 1500, 1550, 1600 range more than likely when it comes out. But here's my question to David, and for anybody else that wants to chime in on it, is it is being promoted big time as a great for astrophotography. However, conversations that people, okay, Robert's saying it's $17.99. Thank you, Robert. There are people that have reviewed the lens and used the lens that say that Petapixel did a review on it that I watched, and they say it is not sharp edge to edge or center to edge when it's wide open at f2.8. And obviously, I think most astro shooters want to have it sharp corner to corner, and they like fast glass, as fast as they can get. So I guess, David, here's my question: is that something that would, let's say you stop it down to f4 and it's perfectly sharp corner to corner? How important is it for you to be able to shoot a lens wide open for astrophotography and have it be sharp corner to corner? I would think that's kind of important.
Well, when I shoot astro, I only shoot wide open. And if that's why you buy the glass, and it's at this little price difference, you're better off to go with the Nikkor 14 to 24. And right now it's like I've got 10, 12, and 15 as primes, but I don't use them very much, and it's in like I don't use them enough for me to switch over to the Nikon one of it. Like you will save a little bit of money, but if you're not getting the quality that you want, what are you saving? And it's what you want to go and do some testing. It's and just see if it works for you. But I shoot all my stuff wide open. Otherwise, you've got to shoot many shots and put them together, because your shutter speed is limited for a 12 millimeter. I'm not too sure what it is right offhand, but it doesn't matter if it's f2.8 or f4. Your maximum shutter speed is the same, and so you're not getting the light in.
Well, if it is edge to edge clear on a 4 instead of 2.8, it's not a so big deal. You're pushing up a little bit your ISO or the speed, and end of the story. I don't see why you have to be so much picky about.
But I'm already at 6400 with 1.8. And so how much higher do you want to go?
Well, this is probably because you certainly talking about the Aurora.
Well, yeah, with that would be the only.
Because I never had the need to shoot the stars with 6400 ISO.
Yeah, no, yeah. If I was headed on the star tracker, then it doesn't really matter. But if you're not using a star tracker, then it does.
I don't know, I think we become too picky about some minor details, and we stick and talking about this instead to the whole picture.
Well, if you're
4, it is nothing.
Well, you're on a tripod anyway, right? If you got to shoot for a couple seconds
Definitely.
longer, right?
Definitely.
It
And
shouldn't
with
be a big deal.
And with the ISO, the noise programs we have now, what
Now,
are we talking about?
Terry, you have the 14 to 24 f2,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
And that length you mentioned to me a couple of times.
yeah. It
That's
is.
H to H, correct?
Uh,
No?
I had this conversation with another friend around here. It is not 100% point edge to edge.
Okay, okay, okay.
It is very close. Is much better than other lenses, but personally, from my personal tests, are not 100%.
Okay,
You can see how call it the distortions on the edge of the frame.
okay, okay.
So
Well,
if you crop it, if you cropped it 5%,
little
it
bit
goes
cropping,
away,
yeah, little bit
right?
cropping and end of the story. No problem about it.
Yeah.
That's why I can't see the reason why I have to moan about this lens, which everybody said this is the perfect lens for everything. But yeah, you can do it. It'll be perfect for anything you want. Why do I have to start talking about for the edge of the frame? I'm talking for four millimeters on a 27 inch monitor, 2-3 millimeters right and left. Come on, be serious.
Well, the thing is too, if you made a print, and you,
So-
if you made a print and you got to put a mat around it, you're going to go in 1/8 of an inch minimum all the way around
Yeah.
anyway.
So
Yeah,
let me ask a question differently.
Yeah.
And also I want David and you to comment over here. Obviously, one is 12 and the other 14, correct? And now I know the wider angle, couple of
must
millimeters,
be big difference.
it could be different. Now, but specifically for you, Terry, because you have that, and I don't know if David has the 14 to
The 10.
24,
Yeah.
2.8, right? But would you, let's say you don't have either one, and one is more expensive than the other, because that's what that's
It's a matter of budget.
would you consider buying, if you didn't have the one that you already have, would you consider buying this instead of the Nikon one or not?
I don't think so. The 12-20. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Would you buy the 12 to 20?
I don't think so because most of this, because nowhere telling me it will be linear and it will be clear edge to edge. Like the Laowa said on the 10, all right, it has a 10 millimeters lens
Yes.
and it specifies D, distortion free.
Okay.
All right. The 12-20, I haven't heard anything about that. And everything over 16, my personal experience, it start to show how call it distortions.
Okay.
The old 14-24, which I had the luck to have with the 850, it was very nice, but it has a bit of coma and distortion a little bit on the edge, much more than the new one.
The C version.
Yeah.
Okay.
But back then, everybody was talking the best lens ever was the 14-24 from Nikon.
Okay.
Now we come 2-3 years later and we're moaning about, has a little bit this and a little bit that. Well,
I wanted to bring it up because I mean, one, I don't shoot astrophotography. Okay, so I wanted to hear from those that shoot celestial bodies and whatnot.
I will expect waiting to see what the people say around and checking if it is possible by myself about the distortion of this lens.
Yeah, it says it's
because maybe it's clear. Maybe it is fine. Maybe it's fine.
There's nobody complaining
about
about coma at all. I mean, they're saying it's, no color fringing, basically. It's been getting, testing wise, doing very well. And like I said, the only slightly negative, if you want to say negative comment, was that when they did, the test charts and shot on the test charts that wide open, it was not sharp in the corners now. But like we were just saying, if you made a print, your mat's going to cover that little area that may be not as sharp. And if not,
if you don't want to
you
cover it,
crop
just
it.
crop it.
You crop it 5% smaller, and the problem goes
Exactly.
away.
But the point that I think Jeff and Leslie making here is the point that I think is good to make, correct? Which is when you have like, general shooter review like Petapixel or which is not an astro channel or is not an astrophotographer, correct? They may get different impressions that
I
some
don't think it is generally photography channel. My opinion.
Which one?
Petapixel.
Well, but I mean, they certainly is not an astrophotography, correct?
99% of the people on the channels in the YouTube, they take money.
No, I know, but David,
The moment they take $1, Gustavo, they're not reliable.
no, I know, but
Simple as that. I will expect David, you, Jeffrey, make a test and tell me, than to wait any of these brands or photographers.
Exactly.
And the people take the camera for a day or a
exactly.
few hours in Tokyo because Fuji or Canon or Nikon pay for them to go there.
And
I have the camera for an hour. I come back. Oh, it's the best camera ever.
and that's exactly the point that Jeff and Leslie are making, correct? That in order to know, we will need to have somebody that is a specialist, right?
Yeah.
To tell us.
Personally, I'm waiting for a couple of people like Matt Granger or the Irwin, and not so much. And I feel they are more reliable, but generally,
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But even that Australian astrophotographer that
yeah.
David that Robert was mentioning the other day, correct? That
Yeah.
he will tell us with a
Yeah,
greater amount of propriety.
because he's based on his own tests and his own eyes,
Because
this is much more reliable.
Yeah.
He's not sponsored by anybody else.
exactly, because the alternative, correct? If you want, that's the discussion that we were having with Jeff. If you're interested in that wide angle range, right? You can go with the 14 to 30 f4, which for landscape is a fantastic lens. That's the one that I went for because I'm not doing so much astro.
Small, fast, nice. Yeah, it's a very good lens. Yeah.
I'm very small, right?
I'm gonna officially announce. I'm gonna reach out here through the channel that if there's any Tamron representatives out there that are watching this channel, that I am proposing that you send a sample copy of this lens to Terry and David and let them do an honest review of that lens, and then no strings attached, no fee involved. You let them use it for a month, and you're going to get honest feedback because these guys shoot.
Don't keep your breath.
So if anybody out there from Tamron's watching, contact me and we'll work out something for you, and I'll make sure those two gentlemen get that lens and they can try it out.
Many people say that the Tamron have turned towards more quality than before.
Yes.
I used to have Tamron lenses through my career.
Yes.
All these years. I never had a serious problem with them. I knew what I was buying.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Yeah. All right. You can't expect to buy a lens for $1,000, for example, and expect to have the sharpest and fastest lens. I knew what I was buying, and I never had any serious problem with their lenses. I really like to have companies like Tamron. But until I have somebody reliable to test a lens like that, because it's a very specific lens.
Yeah. It's not a range that it's not a range that the majority of people out there are going to use.
yeah.
So it's a niche. It's for a certain genre.
Because mathematically, the numbers are very nice. 12 to 20 is a very nice to go out. Last night, I used the 1424, and some moment I said, why you didn't bring the 10? Because the 14 wasn't enough.
I know you, Terry and David are fond of that 10, right? That Lao at 10.
Yeah. I was thinking last night, stupid. Actually, to tell the truth, I go there with a 402. And somebody can tell me, are you crazy? You go for star photography with a 400? But I was looking for a certain thing, like the last time I tried with 100 millimeters, the Orion Nebula.
Okay.
I wanted to try to do it again with the NGC 6477, I think, something like that, Galaxy, which unfortunately, because of the situation, the colors, the clouds and everything, I couldn't even find where this thing was anyway. And I give up. And then I played with the 1424. And then, I needed something more wide.
Well, what did you guys end up paying for the Lao 10 millimeter lens?
I can't remember exactly the price. It wasn't so expensive. I can find out.
I paid around 1,000 Canadian.
Yeah, it was something under 1,000 Australian.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I remember, it was something like a 900 and something.
Now that's a strictly manual, correct?
No.
No.
The 10 is automatic.
Okay.
Full automatic, full autofocus.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have a problem with this lens. Meaning I can't make perfect focus because they are so wide.
Okay.
Which when I bring the stars on, I can see that on the small screen like a sharp, like a pin.
Yes.
But coming back on the computer, they're not.
Oh.
I must be. And last night I find something crazy with the 1424. I was making manual focus, and I had the pins. I haven't checked the photographs, but I believe I was pin sharp on how much you think was on the scale. He said that the distance. You know, when you manually focus, he gives you the distance.
Yeah.
All right, from 30 centimeters to infinity. Where you think on this scale I had the best results? 1.6 meters.
That
The
doesn't
lens?
surprise me, Terry.
Yeah, of course it doesn't surprise you because I think you have done it. You have seen the same thing.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting that.
But with the 10 millimeter Laowa, if you go to f5.6, everything that's further, you can have everything further away than you can reach with your arm in focus.
Yeah.
That's how deep it is. Yeah.
And that, I have a problem with it, but I think I'll try more and more, for sure. But that's what I find last night. 1.6 meters the infinity.
Okay. Wow.
And when I put it on an infinity, it was off.
Okay.
And moving back and forward, and I was going back and back and back and back. I wasn't looking actually the distance, what it was saying there. I was looking at the picture to see if it is sharp or not. And when I achieved the sharpness, which I thought it is perfect,
it was 1.6 meters.
1.6 meters. I said, oh, yes, sir. The moon is just here. Wait, I will scratch it. Well, yeah.
You better duck when it goes by, Terry, so it doesn't hit you on the head.
Yeah. Well, nothing is perfect. Not even me.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a little discussion going on with macro lenses, and and Jeff and Leslie saying that the 105 macro for in the Nikon department, he was happier with that than the 100mm Canon. And then Jim, aka Real Nikon Lover, let me get it up here if it shows.
Fantastic lens.
He uses the 200 f4, the f mount, and that's a lens that I'm hoping that eventually Nikon will do, is come out with a 200mm Z mount macro lens. But I'm not going to hold my breath. But I mean, if they came out with one and they didn't totally get too greedy with the price, I would seriously consider it, because especially when you're taking pictures of trying to capture moving bugs or whatever, or critters that are on flowers and stuff like that, the farther away you can be and still get that 1-to-1 ratio, the less likely you are to scare off what's flying around the flower, and number two, you're not going to end up in a situation where you're casting a shadow on from your own body on your subject that you're trying to take a picture of either, because you're far enough away. So that's also a good reason for a 200 as well. So, but let's jump to Gustavo, the third item on your list, before I jump back in with something else. Why don't you talk about this one?
Yeah. So obviously the rumors keep building for the Z9 II, correct? We know, I think we mentioned before, there is two already registered cameras, correct? They're still talking about 46 megapixel start sensors, right? There is also a possibility that one of those would be a RED camera, some sort of other RED camera beyond the ZR, correct? But everything points out to shipment announcement later in the year and shipment up to next year, which different than what it says here. Right? That's what I heard, correct, from the rumor side. The other item, Jeff, that we can intercede here is that D500 replacement, correct, that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah. There's a Nikon rumors and others are talking about a new APS-C Nikon camera, aka the D500, the Z500, the D500 equivalent. Well, to me, it's not going to be a D500 equivalent, because my opinion, some of the lower end Nikon cameras are better than the D500 spec wise already. But that's what everybody likes to say is that's the one we want to have. And they're talking about something that may get announced and released in the next couple months, August, September. So who knows? They're saying they're calling it a very fast camera, 45 megapixel stack sensor, mini Z9, mini ZR, no confirmation on the model name, whether it's going to be a Z90, a Z80, a Z32, a Z500, blah, blah, blah. But, once again, I mean, some people say, we don't need that. I hate the term we don't need that camera. I don't speak for we. If there are people out there, I mean, that's a business decision. They should, if they have good marketing people and they have good people out there, they should have a pretty good idea how many people have been clamoring for a professional level APS-C camera that has a high frame rate, that's going to be optimized for shooting car races and wildlife photography, bird and flight type of stuff. And they got to decide. I think the big problem is two things. They got to decide if there's enough customers out there going to buy it. But the second thing, I think, which was kind of like maybe the tougher thing, is what price point is it going to be at? Because there's a little bit of a gap in there where they could slide it in. But I mean, I think it would sell. I think people would buy it. I mean, people are spending a considerable amount of money for 45 megapixel, roughly 45 megapixel Fuji APS-C cameras that, you know, are obviously are not built for doing wildlife photography. I mean, people can take some decent wildlife photography with it, but it doesn't have anywhere near the same level of autofocus capabilities that you'd have in either a Canon, a Sony, or a Nikon at this point in time. But people are paying significant money for a lot of these Fuji cameras. So I think they could, you know, I think there's a market out there for it. I think there's always been a market out there for it. You know, whether it's something that's going to pop out in our face here in the next couple of months, I mean, I'm not so sure about that one. But Nikon, I mean, no one saw the ZR coming
Exactly.
when it came. You know what I'm saying? So you can't sit and say, well, they're not going to come out with it anytime soon. They should have done it a year ago or whatever, because Nikon is great at throwing something out there that nobody expected that they were going to do. And in case of the ZR, you know, I mean, obviously it's a great hit. It's selling well. People love it. They're buying accessories for it. They're looking for more accessories that come out, like maybe a hot shoe mounted EVF or something like that. I mean, I think it's something that should happen. I think it's something that will happen. And part of it too is, I mean, having some issues with my shoulder, as some of you may know, I haven't been using my 800 a lot because just that extra weight of that is causing me problems. So, I mean, I've been shooting either with the 600 PF, which is the very comfortable lens to shoot with, and Gustavo uses that a lot out in the field when he doesn't want to carry heavy gear, and it gives you enough range. The 180 to 600 is heavier, you know, than the 600 PF. And the thing is, I was using the 180 to 600 a bit, and sometimes I was able to get shots that I would not have gotten with either the 600 or the 800 because the subject matter of interest was too close to me, and I couldn't back up quick enough to, you know, frame it properly with a fixed lens, you know, telephoto.
Yeah.
But I also, my opinion is, I also noticed that, you know, in terms of the quickness of the autofocus to lock on the subject is considerably better using the 600 or the 800 versus the 180 to 600. I mean, there's a price difference for a reason. And I do think either of those other lenses is sharper overall than the 180 to 600, but the 180 to 600 is a very competent lens for its price point, and I have gotten some wonderful photos with it. But if you have the luxury where you have borrowed or owned a 600 PF or 800 PF, you do notice that there is a difference.
Yeah, definitely the 400 PF or the 400 4.5, which is not a PF, and the 600 PF are incredible lenses for certain applications, but not as. But if you want versatility, definitely 180 to 600 that's the best lens in the lineup so far. We will discuss the 100 to 300, but certainly the best value. Okay, so Nikon, as I said before, has the best lineup for telephotos. Okay, except the telephoto macro, that's the one that we're missing that we were talking before. Yeah, well, but anyway, so that's cool. That's cool. So hopefully it will be great if we get that D500 replacement. Particularly if it has also more megapixel. If it's 20 megapixel, then it's equivalent to having a crop on the C8 and C9. That will not sell. But if you have in excess of 24 or 30 megapixel, that will sell. Correct? So, all right.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. If it, like you said, if it's a 24 and I could get basically 20 with the crop Z9.
Yes.
It's not enough of a difference for me to go and buy another body.
Exactly.
That's for sure. But if you're talking a 36 megapixel or 45 megapixel, then that's a completely different story, because that's the problem that I have with you got pros and cons with shooting APS-C or Micro Four Thirds or any of the smaller formats. And I mean, on the pro side is that you can get an equivalent that 1.4 to, depending on the manufacturer, 1.4 to 1.6 time crop factor, which allows you to buy a cheaper lens, a lighter lens, a smaller lens, and then with that crop factor, it can be an equivalent to, you know, a full frame, you know, 600, let's say, and you buy a 400 and you get 550 with a 1.5 times crop, and that 400 is going to be so much smaller and lighter. And, you know, as you get older, you know, you don't want to carry the heavy glass anymore. You know, maybe you want to lighten up the load. And but if you're shooting at 24 megapixels, you still have a problem where many times you need to crop, let's say, between 20 to 30%, either to get rid of elements in the borders of your image that you captured that don't add any value to your image, and you want to kind of get rid of some of that. Or if it's a very small bird, you need to crop in to make it more dominant in the image. And when you only got a 24 megapixel sensor, I mean, you're not going to be able to do that much cropping. But if you get 45 megapixel in APS-C, then now now you open up a whole different ball game.
Yes.
And you make people definitely think about it more, go in that direction. And I think it would be a good thing for them to do.
And if it's and we know if we use the SP7, has the capacity to process 45 megapixels easily, correct? So if 45 megapixels with a higher pixel density should be easy to handle with the processor, correct? So because we have that in the C9 and the C8, so that will make it very attractive. So let's keep the fingers crossed, because that will be an interesting camera, particularly for the purpose of having lighter equipment. Okay? So I think the continuation of the rumors of this CR cinema firmware and the corresponding C glass that is on the way, right? But basically, Deacon, I think you and Matt mentioned that have been pretty quiet. So they make this announcement, have been unusually quiet, because typically, at least we get one firmware or announcement per month. But so far, nothing except these rumors. These are all in the rumor category, correct? And of course, the C glasses are being announced, but many of us expected that they will be out already. Right?
Yeah, and you would think that usually, I mean, we're not as far away as we may think from the Christmas holiday season. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to do a development announcement and you're going to have product manufactured and ready to deliver for the holiday season, you don't have a lot of time left to do that. So if you're, you know, so you would expect that you're going to get either development announcements or, hey, we are going to come out with this on such and such a date, sometime in the July-August timeframe, so that there's enough product available for the holiday season. So I would think that within the next 60 days, if Nikon's going to do anything and capitalize on it to have a great end quarter for the year, they're going to announce it within the next 60 days. I would think. That's just my opinion.
Z9 was September announced, isn't it?
Yeah, I see. And the already area. I know the first the few people that got them, and the year it was announced was like in December 24th, right? December 25th. And that
I
was,
had it the first day, but when it is announced by Nikon, I think it was September, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Development of
Yeah.
Z9.
They had the commercials in the beginning, like 3 of them, and then they had
I
the
was
main
from the
thing.
first Australians around, probably around the world, because we start the date from here. To had the Z9 in my hands. 24th of December was in my hands.
wow, Derek.
Yep.
Definitely
You
things
know
that,
why? You know why?
no?
Because I pay.
No, but
I
hey,
pay almost the full amount of the before on the order.
here in the US, even if you
I
pay,
was the best customer, of course.
And it was before the tariff too, so.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that. I mean, I don't think. I think with the Z9 too. I mean, it may end up being kind of like the way they're talking. You almost think that maybe they're gonna do a development announcement at the end of this year, and maybe have it something that's out there shipping the first quarter of 2027. But we'll have to see. I mean,
There's a lot of shortages.
put it this way. I'm not. I'm happy
You
with
will
what I'm
come
shooting with
when
right
you will come.
now. I'm happy with what I'm shooting with right now.
Exactly.
And I would rather let's assuming that I'm interested in buying it, which I'm not saying I am or I'm not. I don't really know, or whether I can afford to do that. To me, it's kind of like, okay, I would rather have them take their time and make sure it's doggone perfect,
Right.
than push it out early and then have some problems. And like I said, I don't think anybody's hurting so bad with what they're shooting with right now that if they got to wait three extra months, that it's going to kill them to wait, because I think people would rather wait and have the product be perfect when it comes out the door, do everything they say it's going to do, and not have it where, not that it hasn't been great to have all these firmware updates that we've gotten for free on the Z9, almost like getting at least 2 free cameras, since if for those of us that got it early on, it would be nice if they don't put it out early and then say, well, on a future firmware release, it'll be able to do this, and this as well. I'd rather have them wait and just have it all there right from the get-go, and not have to be kind of teased that it's going to come out in the next 6 months in a firmware update.
we have to recognize, I think, the Z9, all this extended announcement, and like Randa was saying, with all the video, it was a special circumstance, correct? Because it was Vico was under a lot of pressure to show that they could have a camera that could compete with Sony and Canon, correct? So I don't think Nikon is on the same pressure now than during that time in 2021, but they have been unusually quiet. I mean, the next item in the list, correct? They're talking about that 120 to 300, which we know we have seen some pictures in the wild. So there is somebody who has that lens and have been taking pictures, probably some ambassadors or so. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Yes.
Well, you signed a non-disclosure agreement, so we don't expect you to say anything, Terry, because you're going to get in trouble.
Exactly.
But it have been unusually quiet for that lens. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of expectation on that lens, but by now, I would have expected it would have been announced. So there must be other underlying things going on with type of ability to chip, or have to do with tariffs, or maybe even the shortage of some CPU and stuff that is needed for the motor. God knows, but And even they have said that when it comes out, it will be in very limited availability, correct? Despite the fact that probably is as we know, is an expensive lens. I think you wanted to comment also on this lens again, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I mean, this lens is supposedly rumored to be. Excuse me, let me get a drink here. I don't know why I'm so dry. The lens is rumored to be around the $8,000 price point. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. But 120 to 300, which turns into a, where. Give me a second here to go back on my notes here. So when you kick in the TC, you're at 168 to 420 millimeters. It's tough. It's going to be faster, but then when you go and if you need that little extra reach, now you're at f4. And then you get into, you got the 1 to 400 that some people have. You got the one that you talked about, Gustavo. Was it 4? Is it 400?
Must be significantly better than the 100.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is that focal length range that focal length range with engaging the TC would have been great for you on Safari.
Yes,
I would think it would be good for a lot of sports photographers.
And it has the automatic zoom feature also. So.
And so I'm kind of surprised they don't. I'm kind of surprised that someone doesn't come out, or Nikon didn't come out with like a 300 to 600, because that would be a nice range to have, because sometimes like I said, the 600s is just too much reach, and you can't back up enough to frame that object that's only 20 feet away from you. And so if you had a 3 to 6, you probably wouldn't have to back up much at all. But then again, it wouldn't be a f2.8 if it was a 3 to 600. I mean, you'd be lucky if it was an f4 or 4.5. And how much would it cost? So I don't know. I mean, it's like anything else. Nikon's is being very good about creating these lenses that fill in gaps and give options for everybody, whether it be price point, feature set, price point. They're doing a good job with that. But if you already own a 1 to 4, I mean, it's a competent lens. It's a very competent lens. It's not a 2.8, but it does give you, a more range than this lens does. Get rid of that and spend $8,000 or whatever it's going to cost. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
For the price, he must be much better than 100-400.
Yes.
To survive.
Yeah.
The 100-400 is a very nice lens.
Is and a lot lighter and smaller, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was trying out the Sigma 300 to 600 2 days ago. I had it for about 15 minutes, and I was really impressed with how when you're wide open, how shallow the depth of field is and how fast it focuses. It's almost as fast as the 600 TC. It is that fast and it is that sharp. And I was using it on my ZF, and it's going for $900 Canadian, which is a fantastic price when you go change that to American. Yeah, 9,000. That would be under 7 American. But not including the tariffs, because I don't know if Sigma keeps the same price everywhere or how the tariffs affect it. But that's not my problem. But man, if my son was still playing baseball, I would have taken that lens home with me. It is that good.
So anyway, but
Yeah, I agree with you. Had it up a minute ago. I agree with Jeff and Leslie. You know, a 3 to 5 f4 or 3 to 6 f4 would really be a nice nice range to have. I mean, Gustavo, you and I and many people here had the 500 PF at one time, and that was a extremely competent lens as well. And many people still shoot that lens
Luis,
and have a great time with it, and there's nothing wrong with that lens. So yeah,
but for that one, we either had the 400 4.5 or the 600. So that lens was replaced by the 600 and the 400. So I think, but a good, better quality than the 180 to 600, something like what Jeff already mentioned here, that is missing because the 180 to 600 is not optically has some compromises because it's $1,800 lens, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
and you can see it. I mean, I tested it, but it's a wonderful lens. So Nikon is missing something in that range, and I agree with you, Jeff. The for all that this lens is going to be fantastic optically, the 120 to 300. I don't think it's that range because that lens with the TC and everything, but it's going to be expensive, right? It's not going to be a $3,000, $4,000 lens. It's going to be a 10,000. I don't think these rumors of $8,000 are real.
Yeah, I think the old didn't they have that had that range in the F mount, and I think it was a $9,000 lens,
Exactly, but that few years back, correct?
and that was with no TC.
And exactly. So
So 8,000 is probably, as they say, extremely wishful thinking.
and
but
the last thing that we have here is this issue, and I think you have some comments as well. Okay, that about the Nikon stock, but also here that the business backdrop, the we know in the last uh, 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 losses and profit statement from Nikon in the last quarter, the profit were down. It was still making money, but certainly on the imaging group was was reduced from 40% to 5.8. Obviously, that's because there is no new camera coming up that is going to give a boost. So hopefully, in this year or the next financial year, with these new cameras that we were talking about, they will rebound to the level of profits that we had before, certainly on the imaging side. Okay? And
It
you
become a very, very expensive hobby.
yeah, it is, and the other thing here
Many people.
the other thing here that we didn't add to the list was there's still conversation about them coming out with a rangefinder type camera, probably a fixed lens rangefinder type camera.
Where is Roy?
So who knows? Yeah, Roy would be boo. Roy,
Me
I'll
too.
do it for you, Roy.
Me too.
Boo, yes, boo, yes. But
Yeah, and especially if it's cropped.
Yeah.
although they say
hey, Roy would be happy with that camera as long as it had his favorite Snap Bridge program on it.
all right, so I think we are good with Nikon. So let's move to the
Can I make a question about Nikon as long we are on with the Nikon?
yeah.
Anybody knows about the 28-135, the power zoom?
Yes, I got it.
Quality of it?
And I see Roy.
Roy,
still-
Randall's got it, and
Or
Roy
still
has it as well.
photography, Randall?
Yeah, I don't think Roy likes it. I like it because of the power zoom. All right.
Yeah.
It goes in and out or zooms in and out very smoothly. And I love that. I wish
Yeah.
more lenses were like that because I hate when you're turning it, sometimes you know,
moving
You
it. Yeah.
keep turning, and then your lens is going up and down. So
But that's for a still photography. I'm interested, not for video. Particularly, I'm not make video anyway.
well,
How
I
is
know
like
people
for
that
still
take the
photography?
100 to 400 on street photography. So
Yeah, well,
you know, the 24 to 120, the 28 to 135.
compared with the
Yeah,
24
it'll work.
120, you really care.
Yeah. So
Which is better than the two?
uh I like the 28 to 135 because of that zoom switch.
Uh-huh.
The 28 to 1 or the 24 to 120 is on my overhead camera, and that's what
Yeah.
I use for showing stuff. So, but I like the 28 to 135 PC. Now, I've never
Excellent.
used that for street photography. I've always used kind of like the smaller primes or, the
Yeah.
wider field of view. I did take the 24 to 200. I took the 24 to 120 a couple of times, but it was just basically primes I used for the street photography or landscape.
They say that although it's
I
not
respect what Roy said. It would be very good for video only, not for
Yeah, it is.
and it's not branded as such, but they say that that's the first cinema lens in the lineup, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only reason it's not
Because of the T.
because it's not T stops, it's f stops.
Right.
I think that's why people say it's not a true cinema lens because it doesn't have T stops. Well, it's
yeah,
like
right.
it's you know what semantics here. I mean,
Exactly.
it functions perfectly well as a cinema lens, and I think Nikon does consider it a cinema lens, even though many people would argue that point. But anyway, I mean, it's I mean, they keep putting stuff out. I mean, and like Terry said, the thing is that nothing's getting cheaper. Everything is really expensive now.
And go more and more expensive.
And depending on what you shoot, I mean, sincerely, I mean, there's nothing wrong with buying used gear either. If you're starting
Before the program starts, I was watching an Australian guy, Andy Hutchinson, was saying, I never buy a camera the first year it comes up. I'm waiting a year, I'm paying it much cheaper, and they have iron everything, all the bugs you may have on the camera.
Yeah,
And he using Fuji, and he mentioned, look, it was $1,400 announced, and he bought it the next year for $940 from Amazon. A lot of money for $1,500. I mean, you gain 33% sort of discount if you can wait for 1 year.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of people are buying used gear and buy it from a reputable company or get it at if you're lucky enough, like Randall has a kind of a major photo store near him that he frequents a lot, and if you could touch it, put it in your hand, put it on your camera, fool around with it, make sure that it doesn't have any surprises versus buying something online, and it's always better if you're able to get it at a camera store, and usually they'll have some kind of a warranty on it anyway, and if you have an issue, you can bring it back. But there are a lot of great deals out there, and it doesn't have to be, depending on your genre of photography. I mean, I don't need a mirrorless camera to take landscapes. I don't need a mirrorless camera to take pictures of my family. I could get out a 60-year-old camera and take perfect pictures in those scenarios without spending any serious money at all.
Even stereo cameras.
Yeah, you get a used D500, get a D700 or something, and
D500 is so bad, so old.
So yeah, get a
doesn't give us the power it had it on D500.
get a D700. And if you're, I mean, there's only like these. I mean, I'd really like they've done to do a survey sometime to say, what percentage of photographers do astro? What percentage of photographers do wildlife? I mean, I'm sure that astrophotographers and wildlife photographers and even sports photographers are very, very small percentage of what people shoot. I mean, most people are buying a camera to take family vacations or kids' graduation or kids growing up and things like that. And that's why so many, like Gustavo said, are shooting with their remote or their phone. I'm using a remote as an example. But, so, hey, for a lot of those people, you go get a D700 is a great camera. You don't have to break the bank. The lenses are cheap. You can get some lenses pretty darn cheap. And you're all set to go. I mean,
but the marketing doesn't allow us something like that. Brainwash every day, 24 hours.
We are a dying species because I tell you, in popular places for photography, correct, like Iceland, 95% of the people are using the phone. Okay? Everybody freaking uses the phone, and the phones are getting better, but they're still not the same quality. Right? So it's only in a crowd you will see SLRs or DSLRs or mirrorless 5%. The rest is everybody with a freaking phone. Right?
Because the people that don't anymore print as they used to print before, they didn't go to the shop in the corner, giving the film or the small card on the beginning and had the A4 or something print out. That they have now the electronic small displays. You change the photograph every 30 seconds or whatever you like. Why have to buy and spend the money for people that don't want that? Simple as that. And their profits shows exactly that. People that can't afford to buy all this expensive gear. That's what I believe. That looks like to me.
Well, the goal of the marketing department is to try to make you feel that what you bought 4 years ago is now garbage, and that if you want to be in the in crowd, you got to buy the latest and greatest. And sometimes, like Jeff and Leslie was saying, he worked in the IT industry. I worked in manufacturing most of my life.
Every year,
very few things. Most things in the camera business are evolutionary, not revolutionary. Yeah. The revolutionary part might only happen every 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
And in between that 10 or 15 years, things are just evolutionary. Yeah. One feature's a little better, added one new thing, but the evolution, the revolutionary part is a decade plus in between. You know what I'm saying?
That's where I'm afraid Nikon have shot their foot with a Z9, because now we have a Z9 which is version 3 or more with all these upgrades. We don't have the camera we bought, isn't it?
Well, the thing that's scary is that you got the CFE, the new CFE B cards, that are faster. And there isn't any camera on the market right now that takes advantage of that speed because the architecture in the camera hasn't caught up with the technology in the card. So if you put in the architecture in the camera to be able to have that faster rate, but everything has a cost, and it isn't just the cost of the camera. We all know this. How many over the years, how many times did we kind of squeeze ourselves in the situation where the camera does so much stuff, and we went from maybe having an 8 megapixel camera at one point in time to now 45 megapixels. Some people got 60 plus megapixel, And
Does any of us using the Z9 100% on their on the power?
No.
no, no.
I rest my case.
But the thing is, like, you know, you buy this stuff and then you realize, oh, I don't have enough hard disk space. I don't have a fast enough computer. I need a faster card reader.
Oh,
I'm
and
traveling.
the card anymore is not so good.
You know, I'm traveling and I want to be able to put the images on my computer and on an external hard drive, and my laptop isn't fast enough, so now I need another laptop. So that's the trap that you get into, and sometimes you don't realize it until you're already in the trap, is because it's not just the cost of the camera gear, it's the cost of everything that you use as support equipment. You know, your computer, your hard drive storage, your memory card isn't your files are bigger now, your memory cards aren't big enough, and you got to buy new memory cards, and you're spending $1,000 on memory cards, and all that stuff adds up big time.
That's another trap with the cards. The quantity the cards give you. I have 1 terabyte and a 660 gigabytes in my Z9. All right, it is over the limit. It is too much, and I realized I put a terabyte in Z6 III, and then I was thinking, how many photographs of the Z6 III I have to put to fill up this card? It is ridiculous. Not even me on Chombe there making 53,000 photographs is not enough to go halfway there. And we buy bigger and bigger and spend a lot of money for cards and all this. We are victims of marketing, man.
Well, yeah, and then of course, when cameras came out with video technology, now you had to have software that you didn't have before to handle video. And then if you want to do the high-end video, some of that software isn't good enough for the high-end video, and you got to spend hundreds of dollars more for something that's going to take you a year to figure out how to use it, because it's very complicated.
And be old already.
You know, so we're all spending our time on the computers trying to either learn new techniques, new software to do things better, or getting into that discussion that's becoming more prominent now about, well, a lot of people that are saying, I don't want to be part of a subscription plan anymore. I want to get away from Adobe, and I don't want to pay for a subscription plan anymore. And
by the way, now you have a subscription. The On One gives free noise reduction program. The denoise from On One. It is free until the 31st of July.
But what I'm saying, now you got that thing that could be a big expense as people start to recalculate what kind of software do they want to use. So now you go out and you get more software, and now, oh gee, well, my files were all structured for Lightroom or whatever. Now I got to change how I'm doing things. We put ourselves in a situation where we drive ourselves crazy every day.
Yep.
And we continue to do it every single day.
Yep.
Well, let's move on to anything else on this page, Gustavo.
Well, this is the other cameras now.
Okay, so we got. Why don't you?
Other cameras? Is there other cameras around?
Yeah, there's this company called Fujifilm.
Oh.
With the XT6.
And let's acknowledge our friend Martin Hill.
Martin, we hope you're healthy and doing well. I don't know how you're doing this trip. I really don't. You're gonna have legs that look like Popeye's arms. You're just gonna have like calves of steel, and you're gonna be able to climb up mountains and not even break a sweat. You know, with all the walking you're doing. Yeah. I hope you packed like 3 brand new pairs of sneakers, because you're probably wearing them all out.
I'm sure that he had done. But he's in Santander, so he reached Spain already, correct? So he had 2 tasks. He had to do the El Camino, correct? Which is kind of pilgrimage, what's it called it? So and then of course he has the upcoming eclipse, correct? That's so. So we got our friend Martin here doing something very very special, right? I think this is almost to the point of like from a different time, correct? When people will go and go from Tunisia to fight in Rome, or so he's from a different time.
He's doing his Forrest Gump impression,
It's
where he
like,
just Forrest just kept run, Forrest run, and Martin's walk, walk, Martin walk, and he just keeps going and going and going, and eventually says, "I'm done."
I'm going back.
Turn back, yeah.
I hope that he fly back from Spain, so he doesn't have to make it all the back to Germany by foot. So on the next on the other cameras, other manufacturers,
Yeah.
the other big thing is Sony is ready to launch two cameras, the FX5, and they also have controversial RX10V or 5. Right? And I know, Jeff, that you wanted to comment about both of those, in particular the RX10V.
Yeah, the FX5. I mean, that's really a cinema camera, and I'm not even sure now. I could be wrong. Somebody could beat me up at the end of the show or write a nasty letter to me. I thought I had read somewhere that it didn't shoot stills at all, that it couldn't do still images, so that it was strictly a cinema camera only. And if I'm wrong on that, then call me out in the chat here, or somebody will beat me up down the road. But and that's going to be a very expensive camera. That FX5 is going to be priced, probably around high fives or $6,000 or something like that. It's not going to be a cheap camera, or cinema camera, or however you want to word it. But the RX10V is getting a lot of attention.
Yes.
Because it's what we refer to in the business, the business, as a bridge camera. Okay, it's for those that want to have one camera. They don't want to have a bag around their waist with 2 or 3 lenses in it. They don't want to have the extra weight. They don't want to carry a lot in their car. They want to have one camera that can do, could technically do it all, where they could do a portrait shot. They could get that bird that's a half a mile down the street and somehow get it in their camera. And Nikon made and still offer some bridge cameras as well. And but they're not super popular. But I mean, I know at least three people that I see regularly that shoot with bridge cameras, and they love it. And I would think it seems like this particular camera overall does some very good quality images. I mean, but you're going to be restricted in terms of if you make prints of the fact that it's only a 1-inch sensor. Okay, the sensor,
which is not 1 inch. You know that, isn't it?
Pardon?
It's not 1 inch. They said it's 1 inch, but it's not 1 inch.
What is it?
It is type 1. The marketing pushing the 1 inch, but it's type 1, which is around 13 by 9 millimeters.
As they say on Fox Mulder would say, the truth is out there.
Just between us.
But that's
I was reading an article
always...
before yesterday about it. I think it was from anyway, one of the serious sites about photography, and they were analyzing all the sensors, and they were talking about the 1 inch, the marketing twisting of type 1 to 1 inch, and it was giving all the actual dimensions of the sensor, and it is 12.8, I think, by 8.8 or something, roughly 9 by 13. Far away from what.
So even though, I mean, like I know our friend Steve Perry did a review, was very overall.
I was
Very,
very impressed.
very impressed with it. How well it stuck to the bird in flight, and how well it focused on the bird. Jan Wagner, who is a great nature photographer. He showed or talked about some situations where it was lacking.
Wagner is not a Nikon photographer. He used Nikon, but it's not a Nikon photographer.
Correct.
He's Canon photographer.
Yeah, but he does.
Everybody check this camera. They're very, very happy. Matt Granger was very happy with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Matt Granger isn't a wildlife photographer though either.
No. Matt Granger, the Australian guy in Hong Kong.
He's not.
But he's not a wildlife photographer.
A boudoir.
He's boudoir photography.
It's boudoir and landscape,
Yeah,
not wildlife.
But anyway, always the chink in the armor is the sensor size. When you go to do big prints, you don't have the same quality. But in terms of functionality and overall, would
And if you want it for your home, for your screens are fine.
Yeah, I mean it's. I mean, but the thing is, it's not cheap.
No.
Yeah,
It's not cheap. It's
Yeah,
not.
when I heard the price, yeah.
It's not a $1,500 camera.
no.
It's a convenient camera, correct?
It's a convenient camera, but it's not a cheap camera.
And that's why
it's $2,300.
Yeah, and
So it's not cheap.
And that's
No,
why
it's
the bridge camera.
4,000 here.
I thought that's why the terminology of a bridge camera is a misnomer, because it's not a bridge camera. You can buy a proper larger sensor camera with a telephoto range, correct? That
Much cheaper.
much cheaper, that produce a better image.
Yeah.
But but that camera, like the Nikon version, I think it is a very convenient camera. So for a bird who just want to record, hey, I saw this species or that species, that's fantastic, right?
Yeah,
Because actually, Iceland I was in whale watching boat, okay? And somebody was using one of those Nikon cameras that has a single lens that goes from I don't know how many zoom versions, and it was very good because it could go from wide angle to 1,000 millimeters, right?
Yeah. It has its market.
advantages. Yeah,
It definitely has its advantages, and it's like I'm constantly trying to think of a, with the like where Randall is. Well, in Australia it gets darn hot too, but I mean we're Randall right now where he lives and where I live, we're suffering with feels like 105 to 110 degree temperatures every time we turn around, and it's like I don't feel comfortable personally. Like when I go to shoot, I pretty much bring one body and a lens. I decide ahead of time, okay, what lens do I want to bring today? Because I don't want to leave my gear in my car.
Right.
I mean, the car gets too hot. I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave $5,000-6,000, with another body and a nice lens in the trunk of my car and have the thing croak because it's 150 degrees or something in the trunk.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like, that's. So sometimes I'm like, I wish I just had a camera that I wouldn't mind so much having in my car, to have it. If I see something interesting, I could have something in the car that I grab and take a picture of that doesn't cost me so much money that I'm worried about the thing getting, wrecked.
Particularly,
You can have an esky on the car and put the camera inside the esky. I don't know if you call it esky in States. It is the box for cold, to keep it cold.
Oh, your cooler, your ice chest.
Cooler, yeah.
Cooler.
Yeah. We call it esky here.
Yeah.
Well, you put it there like that. Have one of these on your car. Put the camera inside there.
Tell everybody, I got a camera in my hand and I got a camera on ice in my car.
but it's certainly is a camera. You just want to record what you see, correct? Which is what I told you that is going to be, and I think like he mentioned that it have been popular the prior version, and this one with updated software, correct? It fulfilled that equivalent. I think Robert making a comment here
Yeah.
that the P1100 goes to 3000 equivalent, correct? I mean, having a camera that goes from to 3000 millimeter.
Yeah, but how much? What is the quality on this?
It's not. Terry is not going to be happy with the quality. That I guarantee you. But somebody that just want to have one camera, they want to say this is what.
Yeah. I know the users, I know the people, but just curiosity. I never had a chance to see a photograph from a
Well,
from a camera like that.
if you look at Jan, and I know Steve Perry also did that. I mean, he photographs on jacanas and then Australia, correct?
Mm.
And I tell you, the photo looks decent for decent
For
jacana,
what it is and the
but
cost.
but you can see even in the YouTube video, you will not be happy with the photo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great camera for, I mean, I know, my friend Bob and I, we know people that are strictly birders. They don't even take pictures, right? They're looking through their scopes.
Exactly.
They're looking for certain species of birds.
That would be perfect.
Now that would be a perfect thing for them, where they're able to get a picture of that bird, even if it's really far away, and they can share it with their friends on Facebook or Instagram. And because of the file sizes that you use for those images, I mean, the quality would be more than good enough for an Instagram or a Facebook post. And you can say, hey, I found this rare bird in my location that hasn't been here in 10, 15 years. And you were able to capture that image and you share it with everybody. I mean, that would mean a lot to them without having to go out and buy like Robert was saying, a 3000 millimeter equivalent, you're not going to do that with a conventional camera.
Exactly.
You can't do that with a conventional camera. So
that's the difference between a bird photographer or a wildlife photographer, correct? We will not mind photographing something that is common, not a rarity, if it's in the right light with the right background. I mean, it's photography, correct? The other one is recording of the animals, correct? So it's different. That's why birders and photographers are two different hobbies, correct? They have something in common, but it's not the same hobby.
Well, they're saying for a bridge camera, it's probably the best bridge camera that's available right now, that's out there, and I believe that it probably,
because it's not bridging anything. You don't go from this camera to the equipment that you have. The people that go for this camera stay there. It's not a bridge.
But the I bought a camera, not that kind of range, but a pretty good range a few years ago for my grandson.
Or your wife. If your wife goes with you and she wants to do, I know your wife will not, but I say you have a wife that is interested in. Did you want her not to bother you? Hey, let's go. Okay, just give you that camera and she record.
Ain't gonna happen in my lifetime.
Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Your other favorite type of lens, pancake.
I prefer waffles sometimes, but pancake I guess is okay. The 26 millimeter f2.8 pancake. I think now correct me if I'm wrong. I think their EVO line is their lower tier lenses.
So.
I don't know what that one is selling for. Randall,
I'll find out.
Top of your head what it costs, but it is their lower range of lenses, and that gets confusing with Viltrox now too, is because they have like 3 or 4 different levels of quality of their lenses. So if you are somebody that's looking at third party and Viltrox, make some lenses that are really good, and then others that aren't so good, depending on how long ago they made them. And when you have all these different tiers, you want to do your homework so you understand why is this lens so cheap, versus somebody else's lens. You want to do your homework on that, and not just don't go by price alone. Look at the different tiers that they have and understand what your options are and compare it to whatever your equivalent would be from your camera manufacturer, and then decide really where you want to, what you want to do.
But these guys would be for like this is like a CR, correct? Or type of retro type of camera.
A ZFC.
Street photography, correct?
Yeah. Okay, then you got the Tamron 17 to 70 2.8. That's another lens that got some good press.
Yes.
Being a constant aperture throughout that whole range. And
so how
749, I mean,
that's not bad.
That's not bad.
No.
It's interesting how Tamron is. Okay, it's just like, instead of they got the 12 to 20 instead of 14 to 24.
Yes,
they got the 17 to 70 versus a 24 to 70.
Yeah, like a 28 to 105. Yeah.
Right. So they're changing the range a little bit to I don't know. I guess it's probably a pretty good marketing thing for them to do.
I agree. So and make them differentiate themselves with the Nikon line, correct?
Yeah.
And 2.8 is not bad, right? So, but
yeah. 24 105 constant 2.8 is not bad.
Yeah. No.
Now this is an APC
APS-C lens though.
APS-C. That's why I said it's 24 105.
Yeah. Now you jump down. We'll jump to Fuji here with the XT6. Now, Fuji basically has like 3 tiers in terms of, you say, what are their top cameras? They got a lot of different models, of course. So they got right now the XT5, and they say that's a camera for purists. It has a 40.2 megapixel sensor, tactile analog dials for shutter speed, ISO, and exposure compensation. So that's the XT5. The XTC is going to replace it. It's going to be launched with a couple lenses, supposedly announced in September. Launched with a couple lenses, coming with some new film simulation options that you can choose from. It's got reworked dials on the top plate, and it uses the new NP W255 battery, which is a higher capacity battery. Probably the same, same sensor, 40 megapixel range, new AI autofocus capabilities, 8K video. It'll be available in silver and black. And like I said, this is replacing one of their top tier cameras, and they almost kind of have like 3. Fuji's very confusing because they kind of have like 3 categories of camera models that they sell. So they got the XT5, they got what they call the X-H2S, which they say is the choice for sports and wildlife and video professionals. It's got a 26.1 megapixel stacked sensor for fast readout speeds, blackout free burst shooting, and 6.2K open gate video recording. And then they have the Fujifilm X-H2, which is what they call their hybrid powerhouse, 40.2 megapixel resolution of the XT5 with the robust body, advanced video capabilities, and has a cooling fan support option that you would get with the X-H2 H2S. So it's kind of like they picked the best from those other two and created the Fujifilm X-H2. So they have different paths, at least 3 different paths with different models that fall within that path. And if and I respect Fuji very, very much. I mean, I think they've got they have a great following. Their cameras are really good quality. Their film simulations, if you're into that, I mean, you'll say, Nikon in their own way is trying to do film simulations where you can, create profiles and stuff and put it into some of their cameras, or so they don't have baked in film simulations that represent certain old style film types, but they can't. Nikon is kind of promoting you being able to go in and do some customization and change the look of your images and download that stuff into your camera. So, Fuji's done that for a long time. They really have. I mean, really, their only niche is there was. I don't know if it was a year or 2 years ago. They did a firmware update. It really tanked their autofocus functionality. Really, I'll use the term "sucked wind." I guess would be the best way to word it. They really tanked their cameras that were autofocusing really great. After a firmware update, all of a sudden weren't focusing worth a darn, and it took them a long time to try to get the autofocus capabilities back to a reasonable level, but they're not. They are not at the same generation of autofocus technology as a Canon or a Sony or a Nikon. So they're not, a camera that most people would say, I'm buying that for a while. I mean, they have some long glass, but most people don't say, I'm going to buy a Fuji for wildlife photography and birding or sport photography. They typically buy it for general purpose photography, travel, street photography. They like the retro look on a lot of the bodies, which obviously people that have bought a ZFC from Nikon or a ZF have they like the old style, like an old style camera feel with the rotate the dial for the ISO and your shutter speed and so on and so forth. So they've got a very strong market. They probably have the strongest market right now of any camera company in terms of the sales on their cameras and the amount of people that want their cameras, and then some argue that they're intentionally keeping their prices up by never having enough inventory to satisfy the demand. I'm not going to get into that because that can turn into a kind of a political discussion and more of an opinion rather than based on fact. So I'm not going to go there, but they have stated that, I mean, they don't have a problem if their prices go up. I mean, they don't care if they become like a Leica type of thing where everybody wants it. Not everybody can get it. The prices stay high. What their cameras sell for used are really high because people can't get the new ones, so they buy it used and they're paying an arm and a leg for it. But in the end, Fuji's raking in the dollars. They're raking in the dollars. They're doing very well financially. But anyway, that's the XT6 that's coming out. And I don't think I had any other rumors from them other than if you're into their expensive GFX Eterna cinema camera, they came out with a 19 to 35 millimeter T3.5 power zoom with optical image stabilization, 55, basically $5,500. So that's a new lens that's available for that cinema camera. Which we think our stuff is expensive. go buy one of these high-end cinema cameras and take another mortgage out on your house to do it. Let's see. We'll jump to Canon. So Canon says there's going to be an announcement in September for the EOS R8 Mark II, and they said the moniker, what they call that camera, may change because the thought process is it's going to be a retro style camera. So it may be called something. They may change the name and call it something else. There's a new firmware update if you happen to own the Canon Cinema EOS C50 camera. Considered a major update with new features and bug fixes. So check it out on Canon rumors. It's version 1.4.1. So usually with that numbering, you don't think it's a major firmware improvement, but they're saying it is. Canon's also going to announce an RF 24-70 f2 lens this year, and they said at this point in time it would be a world's first. So in other words, a camera in that range at an f2 aperture would be a world's first. And then
we'll make a coffee too.
Oh yeah. Suspect the announcement to be late August, early September. And they're saying their opinion is no image stabilization, which that wouldn't necessarily surprise me, and potentially a $3,000 lens. They say another unknown world's first type of lens may be announced later in the year, and they're trying to find out what that might be. Let's see. Canon Rumors says they've been told by a couple of good sources that the plan is to announce replacements for the RF 400 millimeter f2.8 L ISUSM and the RF 600 millimeter f4 L ISUSM in late in the fourth quarter. But they don't expect those replacements to ship until 2027. And supposedly both those lenses, like if you look up how much those a Canon 400 millimeter lens and a 600 millimeter lens costs, that does not have a built-in teleconverter. They're much higher, or had been last time I looked, much higher than what Nikon offers with the same focal length range with a built-in teleconverter. So supposedly this next generation is going to have built-in teleconverters on the Canon lenses. So it will be very interesting to see how much that price point changes once they add those teleconverters to those models, because their non-teleconverter models are already extremely expensive. And the source is saying also Canon does not have plans for a 500 millimeter prime lens for anybody who was hoping that they would. So that's all that I had for rumors. I don't know if Gustavo has any more on another sheet here.
I think we covered pretty well.
Okay. You want to share any information on your trip?
A couple of things. So obviously related to rumors and also the internet, which we are all and YouTube, we are part of the community. A couple of things here worthwhile check. Luis is here. So can you add Luis, Jeff?
Yeah, I'll get him.
Okay. So
hi guys.
Howdy.
Hi.
Hey,
I've
how
been,
are you?
Good.
How are you?
It's early, so I have like 45 minutes before going to work.
So
be with you guys.
you are home. You're not on a trip.
No, I'm at home. Yeah, you can see it's almost daylight.
Yeah.
but are you be able to finish your shift before the game or not?
Oh yeah. But I don't know what time the game is later, but it's
I-
always late in the day here, so it's plenty of time.
all right, very good. Hey, Luis, before I go to this, so you okay for next Wednesday, correct?
Yes, I went through yeah the pictures a few days ago. Let me just
You
put
have
the volume a little bit higher because I cannot hear you guys very well. Hang on.
okay, okay. Anyway,
Oh yeah,
so
no, now I
fix.
can. No, it's all set. So I
Very
made
good.
a few notes so that I can speak as well about the country and a few things. If I have any
Eh,
questions, I'll bring some books and I'll be ready for any questions.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. So
Yeah,
we talk. We go back to that when we do the promoting the upcoming
sure.
show. So going back to YouTube, a couple of things that draw to my attention. One relates here to Terry as well because it just happened. I talked to Terry on Wednesday, and he mentioned, "Hey, Gustavo, there is this. Uh, I think this way in Lightroom. I think it's a third party uh, thing that allows you to see your focusing point when you're in Lightroom, right? And it just happened that the next day, Mark Kloskowski, in his YouTube channel, mentioned the same issue, but of course in a different using different software. He was not basically saying that Photoshop, particularly the Adobe Camera Raw, has just released a new version in which you can, by right clicking on your photo in the Adobe Camera Raw, you can see where the actual autofocus point were on your image, correct? Which function the same way that Terry has described that a particular plugin, which is a third-party plugin, not a Photoshop plugin, allows you to do that in Photoshop, correct? So it just happened by chance that Photoshop in the latest version has released this, but not yet in Lightroom, correct? So I think after we show this slide, or after we show some of some images, Terry will give you an idea of how for those Lightroom users about how to do that because he mentioned to me that he has all the functionality. So that was a new thing that Matt highlight on the new version of Photoshop. Also, I think in the prior version of Photoshop, the one that came out 2 weeks. So this is very useful for people like Terry that do a lot of landscape photography and do some processing of the profiles is the bidirectional linear grading, right? So that's actually pretty useful, and that also is available, I believe, only at this moment in Adobe Camera Raw, but it will also be available in Lightroom. I don't know, Terry, you are a Lightroom user, whether it's this bidirectional uh, 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 mask is already available. So those were things that caught to my attention because for all that we beach and because of the competition, I think nowadays we're starting to get from Photoshop some interesting capabilities, particularly with regard to masking and for the processing. I like nowadays, as you probably know, Terry, when you do masking of different areas, that you say landscape and it select already the sky, the rocks, that actually works pretty well, correct? If you do selecting processing of the different areas,
Not 100%, but yeah.
but if you do the basic one and then you do some subtraction, it speed up my processing of some
It
of
is
the
very rich. The Lightroom now is very rich on the masking. If you
exact.
know to use them, it is really nice.
It's very easy compared with, let's say, 2 years ago. Okay?
Yep.
So I do recommend
Even months ago.
exactly. I do recommend those videos. And I'm not going to get too much into that, but then I think the video from Jan Wagner on that RX10V or 10.5, whatever whether it's a Roman numeral, it would be that's an interesting one. That's the one that I mentioned. That you look at the image, is not that great. The subject is fantastic. The photo is good, but it's not as good as he gets with his big gear. Correct, and he mentioned that. So to being fair, so that's That's what I have. So Terry, are you ready to show that plugin or not?
Yeah, can I share my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
I stopped. I'm going to do this, and then when you are ready, we bring your, and then we continue with the PowerPoint that I have.
Oops.
Okay.
No, you're good. Put it up.
We got it.
Well, that's the plugin called Focus Point Interactive.
Okay.
I have the version for pre-release one,
Okay.
which until now the guy take it out. He give it out just for testing.
Okay.
But until now, unlike other people, we haven't seen any problem. It is just a small plugin, not exactly small, 79 megabytes, plugin for Lightroom.
Mhm.
And if you can see here, in this case, the focus,
Yes.
the big advantage for me it is here. He reads the EXIF of the file
Yes.
and best than anybody else. And for my likes, it is this part here is the focus distance, which Adobe doesn't like to spend the I don't know the time to find the information on the EXIF of the Nikon's file, because Nikon have changed the position of the distance in the EXIF, and Adobe didn't care. It didn't go because I had a problem looking. Somebody was giving all the time the distance. I said, how he can give the distance from everything and I can't? And I was looking everywhere, and some files from some lenses, in some circumstances, they were giving it, but it was really, really, really rare. And that gives me this information too. It works. You can see behind because to take over the file.
Yeah. So
What I wanted to show is how it works from Lightroom. On the Lightroom, you just go to File,
okay.
Plugin Extras. After you have installed it, when you install it, you go to Plugin Manager. From the File, Plugin Manager, you activate it, and then from the Plugin Extras, you just click the Show Focus Point, and this window comes up. You can leave it on and change files. It will take a couple of seconds, and you come the new one. It goes out. Don't understand that. Window entire screen. I think it's better this way.
Okay. We bring you back when you share that one again. So it's
Can you see that?
yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, a delay. Sorry, I can. But it's easy if you go File, Plugin Extra is to activate it. You see here. I don't know if you can see. It's very small letters. It is the Enable button, which of course now it is gray because I have already activated. You have a lot of configuration, how you want to work. And then after that, whenever you have a photograph, you just, now of course I have it switcher on, and you can leave it there on the other screen or whatever. And if you choose a different photograph, automatically will change and will give you the new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very, very helpful
So there,
in case you are interested about that.
and you say it was it was freeware, correct?
Yes, it is free. Yeah, it is free. Where I find this guy comes on Steve's blog,
Okay.
and he was talking general. I said, "Look, I have this one, and if you want, I can give you the pre-release for testing." And a couple of guys, they said, "Yeah, we like it," and we download. It's free. It's not a big
So
deal.
did you download it from a website, or he sent it to you via email?
He sent me. He gave us a link to download it.
Okay.
I can find it during the conversation after this. I can find it and give it to you the link.
Okay. Put it on the chat, because I think
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's
for
what
the
I'm
live
saying.
room people here, which I am not,
Yeah.
that would be it seems to be very useful, because I tell you,
It
indeed,
is.
when you were mentioning, and I think Robert was mentioning that Photoshop don't read all the exit information from the Nico files, correct?
Yeah.
And I also find out that focus point in the Adobe Camera Raw work on Adobe Camera Raw.
On a certain only on RAW and maybe DNG, but you
No
have
DNG.
if you
When I put it
if
on
you
the,
load it, one moment, if you load it straight from the Lightroom to Photoshop, doesn't work.
no, but what I mean, the one that is a Photoshop one, the one that I put that must
On Camera Raw.
for Adobe Camera Raw work on the NEF files, but when I try one of the DNG files from DX Raw, it doesn't have the information, because DX Raw doesn't transfer that information into the DNG file.
It is the way you transfer the file from the Lightroom to Photoshop.
Exactly.
You have to give the file, open it like a smart object.
Yeah, but remember
And after the smart object, you don't open just the camera raw. You have to click on the smart object in the small thumbnail to open the camera raw, and this time in this case works.
Yeah. No, in my case, it works for the NEF file, no matter what. You just go right click, and then you see that option, and it highlights like Okoski mentioned. Okay, but the DNG files that are created by a different software, they doesn't work. Right? And maybe
I tried with my DNG from the pure raw, and was working.
Okay, which one? The Adobe Camera Raw?
The DNG from pure raw.
I know, but in which software?
6.
No, but in what software? On this Live Raw plugin, or in the Adobe Camera Raw?
No, we're talking now for the camera raw.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it?
Okay.
This one, he will not, the plugin, I couldn't find information when I open a TIFF file from Photoshop.
Okay.
Because Photoshop, as we know, it
doesn't pass all the information,
hiding most of the information on a TIFF file. And when I try to see the information there, he shows that we don't have information on this file. But yeah, the Photoshop doesn't give back DNG or whatever anyway. You have a PSD or a TIFF.
Exactly. So anyway, that's interesting, Terry. Thank you so much for this. I didn't know, and actually, it just happened that there is something if you are Adobe Camera Raw user, but now there is something from this plugin for Lightroom.
By the way, you have to know, if you just load a file from the Lightroom to Photoshop, as usually, you will not see that. You not have this capability. When you go to Camera Raw, the information will be gray. Okay. If you open the file from the Explorer to
Yeah.
open to Photoshop. Of
There you
course, you go to Camera Raw and you have the capability.
Wow.
If you go through the Lightroom, you have to load the file as smart object.
Okay.
And then click the smart object in the corner of the thumbnail.
Well, say goodnight to Jim,
Yeah.
kicking off. Have a good one, Jim. Thanks for coming in, stopping.
I'm David.
And David wasn't feeling
Yeah.
isn't feeling so hot. He got a cold, so he left a few minutes ago. So we wish him well. Hope he feels better soon. And
I can stop the sharing, isn't it?
Yes.
but
Thank you, Terry. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Particularly the distance. That I agree with you.
Yes. For me, that's the main point. All the other information, indirectly or directly, I can find it.
So anyway, it's good
Yeah.
that we have options, correct? Here.
Yeah.
options are good.
Yes.
Yes.
What happened here, Jeff?
Let's just do. What do you want to get rid of your?
No. That's fine. So I think we're back in normal. What?
We're back to what we call normal on in this world of YouTube.
Yeah.
So as you know, I just I will do some photo sharing. I didn't get I got something from Jim, but I didn't get permission to share it, and I forgot to ask him. Correct, but as you know, I just have, came back from Iceland for 2 weeks. Correct, so I got a couple
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So got some first things that are happening here. So for me, it's hummingbird season, right? Although the hummingbird have been here for quite a while, now I got now this narrow window of about 2 weeks that I get some of the migrating ones are coming on the rocky side. Okay, and actually I saw them this morning. So these coming 2 weeks are going to be busy for me, trying to go to here at home, but also other places, trying to capture, and in particular looking for good photos of the black chin hummingbird, correct? Which I don't have, but I know close by, and I can find some. But interesting enough, just before the week before traveling, female broadtail actually start nesting very close to where I drink my coffee, and actually it built the nest over the period that is supposed to be over 10 days. Unfortunately, the day that I was leaving, I noticed that she wasn't there, and you can see here the nest was already ready, right? And it takes them about 7 to 10 days, and she has spent the 7 to 10 days. So I was looking forward coming back to see her and see whether she raised some chicks, correct? Because that's a unique opportunity. Um, Unfortunately, that morning that I left, she wasn't there, and she had been quite reliably sitting in the nest and fixing it. And when I came back, that one of the first things that I did, and she wasn't there. So maybe she got another site or was predated, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to see. And you can see I could get a relatively good photos, okay, sneaking in between the branches to get, and so it's rather unfortunate. But my hummingbird season is here, so wish me well. I'm sure that I'm going to try get some ideas of including that species that I haven't photographed yet, right? And particularly with the Rufus, which is the one that like to photograph this type of a year, right? So with regard to photo sharing, you see, I put a thumbnail of some of the photos. I'm actively working on the reprocessing, and I showed this photo to Terry, and it's related to the conversation we were having about lenses. Going on my last trip to Iceland 2 years ago, I didn't bring a wider angle zoom. I started with the 24 to 120, which is a good all-purpose lens. Actually, probably the one that I use the most on the last trip and also on this trip, correct? But I noticed for this particular very famous location called Kirkjufell, correct? That famous mountain that has that waterfall in front, right? I needed something that's slightly wider, right? So I ended buying that 14-30 f4, and I have been using that for landscape here around the Rockies, but also that lens I decided to buy after my trip to Iceland a couple of years ago. Right. So you can see here some of the fruits of that, different options. By the way, this day I had to go to location a couple of times. It was more of the time very busy, but that day it was like 50 miles per hour wind.
Wow.
It was
Just a breeze.
it was
Yeah.
very difficult. I mean, you couldn't stand. So no chance of working with the no chance of working. Slow motion of the waterfall. Correct.
Hmm.
You only have to choose. I mean, you can see these ones was showed at 1/500 uh, seconds, because that was the only. I mean, it was difficult to even stand to take the photo, but there was good clouds in behind. I actually had to
Yeah.
come around, and it was definitely dramatic for sure. Right? So
How open are you here? How many millimeters?
F4.
Yeah, yeah, four.
Millimeter.
And the zoom.
Focal
You
length.
said
That's a 24-120. So the 14-30.
this
So
is
So
about at
we're at
14.
14, just at 14.
this is I think it's I probably say my day. I think it's 16 millimeter, and I will explain
Oh, yeah,
why.
yeah.
Yep, 16 millimeter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's
Yes,
not
yeah.
good to
Okay.
go all the way wide anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, so I was quite happy. You will see some of the photos. I think it's done in the right sequence. But this is for Terry. You can see he had been there. This is a Nastapi cliff, correct? And
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
we were lucky that look at that type of weather, Terry. Right?
Yeah.
Blue sky and everything, which for Iceland, that's
All right, now rub it in my face. Okay.
exactly. So actually, we did some hiking around from Arnasapi to I see Helder, and it was fantastic just doing there, taking photos of the coastline. So
Did you
definitely,
had any birds around there,
all
Gustavo?
a lot of birds in the.
Yeah.
I photographed something that apparently is not so common. The one bird that has a funny
No,
name.
I mean in this
European
location.
flags. In the photo, there is a bird here, because all
Oh.
these cliffs are full of birds.
Yeah, there on the left. Yeah, sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah.
A lot of that. Actually, Terry, that's one thing that I should have waited a long time, but as I told you, I was mostly hiking with my wife
Yeah,
on this area,
yeah.
so I could not wait until there was a one of these fulmars or,
Coming to
or,
me,
or
yeah.
keeping way to come close, so that because everything
Mhm.
that would be, but most of them have also birds. So anyway, so combination of things, correct? So I was quite happy. This trip, definitely this day was wonderful. The next day on the same location, I wanted to go to another very famous point. You could not see even 100 feet in front of you, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to Iceland.
So I mentioned related to this to Terry because I went there 2 years ago, right? And 2 years ago, because this is a very famous location. I think Terry had mentioned that a friend of him had traveled recently, and he was complaining, although he went a little bit earlier than me, that there was a lot of changes. And I also noticed that there's a lot of changes. Iceland is becoming more and more popular. Correct? Actually, the airport is not adequate for the volume of people they're handling, correct? Because it's becoming very popular. But there is a lot of places in Iceland. So when you get away from the crowded, popular places, right, you can find
Iceland have a plenty of spaces
a
and
plenty of
places to
places.
go.
So now my second trip, I was able to get to because I say, okay, we saw that one, or if we visit one of the waterfalls that are very popular, including this place here, I didn't have to spend too much time, right? Now I wanted to come here because I came with a different lens because of for that trip. But one of the things that they had done is how this is developing extremely rapidly, and I know that Luis, Martin, and I think others in the chat have gone there before. In 2 years, has changed dramatically. In this location, Luis, you have been here, correct? You used
No,
to.
no, no. I've never been to Iceland.
Okay, well, wonderful place to be, correct? But in this place there, you can. You used
Maybe I
to.
give the impression I've been everywhere, but that's not the case.
Well, almost.
Almost, yeah, almost. Okay.
It, so you used to take the photos. I mean, you had to put your tripod in a certain location. Even 3 years ago, 2 years ago, it was crowded because particularly the photographer with the tripod. Now all that has changed, right? Now to
Yeah.
park around here, you have to they record your license plate.
Pay
You have to pay. It's like a
everyone and
760
everything.
krona, but it's like $10, correct? But it's not that much.
But $10 here, $10 there,
Oh,
make a
sure.
pound.
Every of the popular places you have to pay, and the time that I went before, you had to pay as well, but the system didn't work. Now the system do work, and, and,
So
and
now you pay, as they say.
now
Now
you
you
pay.
pay.
Oh, yeah.
No, and if you don't pay because they record your license plate, correct? Then the AV send you the bill after, or
Yeah,
Euro.
because their own machine, they weren't working. That wasn't we were cheating or we didn't
No,
didn't
it
want to
didn't work.
pay. What's their own machines? They weren't working. They weren't there most of the times. It was almost like a free. In my trip up there, we didn't see anywhere anything, never to pay.
Exactly. Now
And when my friend goes there, he said, "Well, yeah, but I have to go there, I have to pay there for 4 hours. In some places, you have to pay for a certain hours
yes,
because they are with a van,
exactly.
okay? And he had to pay twice if he wanted to stay at night
Yeah,
because
and
it was there. You pay up to 12 o'clock, and then from the 12 o'clock to the next day. That means if you want to stay at night, you have to pay twice.
the good thing,
Things like that. They
So-
find things to suck the tourists a lot.
yeah, but on the other hand, they're improving the infrastructure because there are other places that were not available before. So because they have so many that they have developed, correct? So I got a new couple of waterfalls that were not accessible before and now accessible, correct? But this is how Luis. This is only 2 years, correct?
Yeah.
There was nothing. I mean, you were shooting from the ground, which I do prefer, correct?
Yeah.
Now they have paved this area, and there is like 3 terrace levels, correct? And of course, when you have a bus of tourists, correct, then you are not going to find a place that you can even get to the rail, correct? But that wasn't there 2 years ago.
I'm definitely not a racist, but if you have a Chinese or general Asian tourist, you
Well-
is better to suicide.
Exactly, but that's a good thing, Terry, of going very late in the evening or very early in the morning before all the buses will show. But
It reminds me of the Grand Canyon.
Oh,
yes,
yeah, exactly. Exactly the same thing, yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the Grand Canyon, that infrastructure, Luis, have been there forever. Correct. This is just built in 2 years. Correct. I mean, it's incredible. So I took this photo for Terry because I know he had been in here, correct? And then I said, I was surprised, correct? I went prepared to do the same thing that I did 2 years. And then I find out the camera system, the parking was different. I mean, now you can still get your photo, correct? You can still get the photo.
Well,
That's
I'm sure the people who live there may not be overly happy with having walkways like this, and interrupting, nature how it was, putting this stuff in. I'm sure there's some people that aren't too happy about it.
Well, but a lot of these they have some national parks, but a lot of these are farmland. So I think it's also some of the farmers who are building the infrastructure because I think they benefit as well, correct? Certainly, that other of these were in 2 years ago. It was in the middle of a farm, and now it's not. Now that doesn't mean that people should not be discouraged because these are still wonderful places to see, and you
No, discard them. Discard them. Make them not to go there, please.
Make it so only Terry could go. That's what he wants.
That
Yeah.
would be nice.
and there is so many remote places,
Oh yeah.
But-
Oh yeah.
and the good thing
You don't have a problem to find different places.
and the good thing, Terry, is the tour buses don't go to those remote places. Correct? They cannot get there because
Yeah.
they're, and I will show some of the photos. I may prepare a little presentation when I get all my photos sorted out because I mean there is still hopefully I will go there not immediately, but in a couple of years again. I'm sure there will be more annoying,
More tourists.
more including me, but I don't know all the remote places because certainly on the birding side, I know these European birds mostly, Luis. But
Did you go inland or just around?
no, I went around this time. I actually I screw up with the rental of the car. I got a better car last time. They gave me a SUV, but the SUV was a little bit. It was
Yeah,
a
my
great,
friend had the same problem with the
comfortable, more comfortable, but I wanted something more rugged. Remember, I drive a
Yeah.
Jeep here in the US, right?
Yeah.
So I next time I'm going to make sure, hey, give me a Land Cruiser or something that I can really go because the Highlands I haven't explored yet, right?
Yeah.
And some of the most distant fjords, which is what I do like to see.
Well, when you compare what you did on this trip to the one you did 2 years ago,
Yes.
what percentage of this trip did you go back and revisit where you had seen it 2 years ago versus going to see totally different places?
About 50%, because some of the places that I have seen before, as Terry will remember, they're by the road. You have to pass by the road, so it's only like 5 minutes detour. Now you have to pay the $10.
So you don't stop.
Exactly.
Or you
Sorry, next time.
Uh-huh.
See you next time.
but I screw up because I wanted to do a loop, which is what makes more sense. And I book my hotels to do a loop. But
If you want to go inland, you have to go on better weather.
yes,
Don't go on because many of the roads are closed. My friend was go before, as you know.
yes.
He find a lot of these roads closed.
Yeah,
because
I
of the
think
snow.
if you want to go inland, it's better to go July type. If you want to
Yes,
go for
yeah.
animals,
Like the time we go, yeah.
if you
July,
want to go for animals, it's better to be early in the year
Yeah.
to photograph all the.
You will not have much of snow, but you have plenty of green
Yes,
and very nice waterfalls. Everything is beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'm more flowers in the as well. right?
Flowers, yeah, animals, yeah.
But so anyway, amazing the amount of development in the tourist places, right? I mean, but they're opening up, and most of the places are very welcoming to the tourists in the hotel. They have a nice
Happen everywhere, man.
and it's safe. But what I screwed this time is I wanted to do a loop, and actually, because the second time, Jeff, you being putting gasoline in Iceland is always a a challenge, right? But as Terry will tell you, but I did remember this time, correct? So I knew this gas station have an option for when you open when you put your car, you have an option for English, correct? Or actually even Spanish or German this time, correct? But
Well, I always change the language on a rental car just to be funny with the next guys.
oh yeah,
You're a bad boy.
Yeah.
You're a bad boy.
No, but I mean, if I go to my hometown in Portugal, you get any rental car. You can have, I don't know, many nationalities in that car.
You
before,
changed it to
so
Chinese? Oh,
Well, that
Russian?
might be difficult to change to, but
Yeah.
I have a Bulgarian colleague that used to grab back in the day the mobiles of colleagues and change the language to Bulgarian, just
Oh my
out of fun.
But what I screw up this time is I wanted
Listen,
to do.
guys, sorry, I have to go to work. So
Oh.
nice seeing you
All right.
guys.
Well,
Well, we'll
I
see
will
you on
see this
Wednesday.
the live screen again a bit later.
Oh.
I'm set up for Wednesday.
Yeah.
Just send me the time that you want me to be ready, Gustavo.
Yes, and Jeff will be sending the invites
The
on
invite, yeah.
Monday or Tuesday, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Figure we're going to start at noontime, Eastern, U.S. Eastern Standard Time.
It will be like
Okay.
6 o'clock, 5 o'clock. But
Yeah, it's 6 o'clock difference. I mean 6 hours difference. Yeah.
exactly. So anyway,
Almost.
please, nice to see you, brother, and
Yeah.
watch the next set of photos and your way to home.
Yeah.
And I will share I share some of the photos because
Excellent. I will follow the live stream later. Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
all right. So as you said, so I took a lot of photos of landscape, of course, because that's and if you want to see waterfalls, Iceland is a place to follow a waterfall. I don't think there's any other place in the world that has so many waterfalls. Okay, but
The only place I've seen with more waterfalls, but not
New
as beautiful there, is New Zealand in South Island.
but
Wow.
I do like to. This time I was better prepared to do the wildlife. So I took the 800, Jeff, correct?
Yeah.
Which
That's my
also
second favorite bird.
yes. So but this time it was actually a little bit tricky because I typically fly United, and when I show up at the airport in Icelandic Air, because that's the only one that flies direct,
Yeah.
the lady wanted to wave my roller, correct? But locally they say, look, this is compliance on the size, and
Yeah.
and she didn't hassle me, but I was concerned because I'm not used to be concerned, correct? With,
Oh, yeah.
but I'm glad that I didn't take, and I will mention what I took this time, but I took the 800. I still use the 600 PF far more than the 800, just because of what you said.
Yeah, a bit too much. Yeah.
Is more is more for certain things like working in the wing. I tell you to like Steve Perry had recommended when I was using even the 600 and the 800, I had to take the hood.
Take it out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have an 800 on you got a 30-mile-an-hour wind, and you got the 800. You almost turn airborne.
Exactly.
It like rips it out of your hand, you know.
So it took a lot of birds in flight, which the 600 was magnificent for that.
By the way, guys, I have put it on a private chat link for the
Yeah.
calculator.
Yeah, and I also put it on the main one.
Good, because I don't have it
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
Yeah. So the Arctic terns, they are fantastic.
Yeah.
I got this is location by the hotel where I was eating, right? And the one afternoon, they are so defensive of the territory, right?
Yeah.
And remember, the island has a greater amount of Arctic terns, right? And the place that I go, I got some. I'm going to show you. This is just a appetizer for the Arctic tern photos that I were able to get this time. But interesting enough, you have to be a little bit brave because they are trying to attack you. Correct? You are there.
Yeah.
They are trying to attack you. Actually, I had to, and they attack you by trying to get into your head. So I had to wear a hat, but also to poop in you. So I ended up, I actually had to watch my windbreaker a couple of times because I said, I don't want to, but they startle you. But if you stay behind the camera, you don't get that startled. So you have to be behind the camera, and then after that you get to the hotel. Okay, It was amazing, but a part of the experience. Okay?
Yeah, but we have a photograph like that, man.
Yes. So the other one that was a target for this time is I wanted to photograph the puffins in flight. Right? So
I tried. I never had luck.
so and
That's amazing.
yeah, so I actually, this is a interesting photo, Jeff, because actually when I show this in the proper show one, I would show the entire sequence because I was frustrated because
That's
I wanted
nice,
to
yeah.
go places for the puffin. It was bloody difficult. These little things are like photographing bullets. Yeah, amazing.
Bullets.
But these were when I mentioned that I did a whale watching tour. These actually were puffins that were feeding in the ocean, right? And then when we were passing by the tour by the boat on the whale watching, they were going up. Now, interesting enough, I didn't expect to do whale watching this time, but
That's
someone
not a whale, man.
huh? I have
That's
some
not a whale. You're confused.
exactly, but I didn't take the 100 to 400. I only took one the 24 to 120. I showed the other line, and then I moved to 600. So I ended having to photograph on a moving boat with a 600. So this was taken with a 600 in the boat and a flying bird.
That would be fun.
That was, but the results show that it's possible.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't mean to laugh, but yes, I do.
Me too.
Yes, but the results actually the 600. I tell you, like the 500
The
PM,
results talk by themselves, man.
man, this lens is amazing, and you can see this was taken at one over 6,400 of a second. ISO 1,800, right? At 6.3 fully open, and you can see it's all the detail.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
So
How much? What distance was this one about?
it was like probably 20 meters, 10 meters, 20 meters
Okay.
probably, right?
Yeah.
So it's a slightly crop, correct? Because
Yeah, yeah.
you can imagine the boat and I go like, wow. Yeah,
There are bullets and bloody things. Yeah.
exactly. But so anyway, but that's the benefit of going a second time.
Okay.
It was something. So there will be more to come, and of course, in the image review, you will see something. So photo equipment. Remember, I again remember I bought this 14 to 30 after the island trip I have been using, and I mentioned that I bought this hood that allows you to put a
Filter.
magnetic
Filter.
polarizer. Right, that all works well, except what I noticed working there is that at a 14 millimeter, it creates a little bit of a vignetting shadow, actually
Like
more
vignetting,
like a shadow. So you have to, if you wanted to use it, then you have to go to about 16, 15 millimeter in order to eliminate the shadow. So it's not perfectly, the hood is not perfect for this. Now the other hood for the 20 to 120, which is the Nikon hood, correct? That one that came from the C6, so this the new 24 to 70. That actually that hood doesn't have any vignetting, any problem. Doesn't create any. So that was good. Now in terms of lenses, I got with me the 14 to 30, which I think the wider angle for Iceland is essential. The 24 to 120, which is the lens that I use the most, correct? Now, and then the 600 PF, correct? All that I could put in my backpack. So it was hiking. I could even hike to a place to photograph wildlife with the lens in the back, okay? And I bought I bought the 800. In hindsight, maybe next time I don't take the 800, although I use it, okay? Particularly for some of the bird colonies, because I could handle the those bird colonies with the 600 plus the TC, correct? And I should have brought the 100 to 400, correct? So that would have been a better combination.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's what I have. So any questions, or I think I've seen some comments here about turns. So they are
Uh-huh.
really, but it was wonderful, and I mentioned it to Terry. One of the things that I was able to, I photographed a couple of species that I had never seen. Obviously, more time spent with puffin, but I even saw an artifox. Correct. So I got some
Yeah, that's
artifox photos, not in the summer coats, which are not as,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
but it's a I didn't expect to see some of that, and I was able to photograph some ptarmigans as well, correct, which I didn't expect this time. So anyway, overall, fantastic trip. Did enjoy it. Second time around is so more relaxing, Terry,
Yeah.
because you already know what to expect, correct?
I will, if I ever go, I will not go on a
Photo tour,
group,
exactly.
on a photo tour. No. As the same thing with the safari.
Yes,
It was good, but
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 there you have to, because accessing that hotel, the floating hotel, and that
yeah,
special boat.
yeah.
Okay, so upcoming, and I think Jeff is not here, but they
Yeah, he
continue.
just go out for one.
I think the dog.
Yeah.
We're talking to Luis. So this
Sri
is a
Lanka.
reminder that we're going to meet next Wednesday, correct? So we have a special presentation next Wednesday. It will be better for the European audience, the Martin, although Martin probably isn't the road, but certainly for Paul and all the people that come. So we're going to do it. Not so good for you, Terry, right? Because
Why?
it's
Yeah, it would be in the morning. Yeah, I know.
it will be bad time for, but it's good for Luis and Paul and Martin and all that. So it will be
Because it
July.
is on Sri Lanka and it is nice target for me. I will
Okay.
try to see that because I may have some questions to Louis.
And
Uh,
we made it not only about the animals, so it made it more like an eat. That's also with some recommendation for travel. So it's a combination of nature and travel photography. I have seen the
Good.
photo. We had that presentation ready for a long, long time ago. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
The photos are fantastic, correct? And so please do uh, try to attend that day because
Because it is very early for me.
yes,
Uh,
you probably watch it
but
after.
I will try.
Yes,
I will try, and yeah, because I want to make some questions to Louis for the area because Sri Lanka is a very nice target. I don't want to go to India.
yes.
I would prefer to go to Sri Lanka if uh, the situation, depending what I will see actually on the presentation anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
and Luis is such a experienced traveler that I'm sure that
yeah,
he
yeah,
can
yeah,
provide better example than him.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
So anyway, so that's next Wednesday, guys. Correct?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we will send the invites and put the reminder in YouTube
Yeah, send a reminder a day
in
before so I will
the
see the time. Yeah.
on Monday. Right?
If you start midday there, it will be 3 hours earlier than now,
No, it
or
will be
two and a half hours, or 3 hours earlier.
yeah. So the other reminder that I want to tell you is it's 2 p.m. my time. I think it's 12 p.m. Uh, Eastern Standard Time. But Luis, I say I arrange the time with you and then send it to Jeff. Correct?
Yeah,
Because
okay, yeah.
you are the one, Luis, that we want to make sure that it's easy for you. Correct? So the other thing, this is the thumbnail for
Yeah.
the uh, image review in August. Remember that Mr. Jeff is going to be traveling, correct? So he cannot do the next image review. I already start receiving some photos for the image review. Uh, I will put my email address. So I please make sure that you start sending your submissions for the next image review. We already have, I think, 4 people that sent some photos.
I am the one.
You are the one, and
I'm number 2.
yes, Bob and Rakesh. All the photos are fantastic so far, and you can see here that are already creating in the style of the thumbnail, in the style of the image review, correct? So we got some wonderful photos already, but please do. We want to keep this going. Unfortunately, I will be the one hosting, so wish me luck.
You'll do an excellent job as always.
You don't need luck.
You don't need luck.
But you have to send the image to me. If you send it early enough before Jeff travel, he will forward to me. You feel more comfortable that way. But I will put my email address here shortly. The other thing is, Robert Rosado has finished now his light painting presentation. I think last Wednesday, I have the privilege to see the final version. It is great uh, presentation, very uh, well prepared, that will help anybody who has never done this type of photography that you see here to achieve it. He did a wonderful presentation, and he will even do a demo of the processing, right? So if you are interested on this type of photography, please do. And he will be, for the time being, he is scheduled to do this in August 15, which is our general meeting for August. Now that's pending on some work-related travel that he had to take care of. Right. So at this moment is penciled out for August 15. So that is also in the pipeline. Right. And then, oops, no. What have I done? Okay. And then here, so this is what we have in the calendar for Q3, slightly Q4 here. So we have general meeting, a special presentation by Luis, as I mentioned, the image review on August 1st that will be hosted in selected images, but I will be the one collecting the photos. Obviously, we have the help of the panel here. Then for the time being, we have the general meeting in August will be Robert, correct, on this light painting, and then our next image reviews will be September 5th. By that time, Jeff will be back, right? So that's how far we have now. In terms of all the things that we have in the pipeline, I think we are still working with Terry to do his Chubby Botswana presentation, but he had to do 50,000 photos first. So
Yeah.
I did it.
exactly. So he had to, and I want to work with him to try to create both, like we have been doing here, advice on the equipment, advice on the traveling, advice on the places, his personal experience, and of course his wonderful photos, right? And then Paul Scubarassi has sent us some ideas for about 3 or 4 presentations, correct? So we got some stuff in the pipeline. That doesn't mean, guys, if you have more stuff in the pipeline that you want to send us, I prefer to have more and then schedule it now. Obviously, what Scubarassi will be able to present, we will schedule on that more European friendly time frame, correct? So that the guys can. So we have some ideas in the pipeline, and I also going to put in this list my presentation about this island trip. You will see some of the photos. All right, so that's what we have. So finally, again for the image review on August, correct? Then this will be on the selected Imagery YouTube channel, so nothing is changing. You will see the same, it will be the same time, same way of connecting, the same channel. Nothing is different. The only thing is that I will be collecting the photos, correct?
Yeah. So the good news is I won't be there, and you don't have to look at me or hear me for the whole show.
Yeah.
No. So you need to send, you can send it to Jeff for the time being, but at one point he's traveling and he will not be able to forward it to me. But send your images to Gustavo Ugueto 2 at gmail.com. Correct? So that's where you need to send some of the photos. Correct? Again,
And send it to Jeff too to make him to confuse him when he comes back.
I have a lot less experience putting this together, so the sooner you send it to me, the better. Correct? The deadline is obviously, as we always do, the July the 31st, correct? The Friday before, but the earlier the better, correct? And as with Jeff, please send a brief description if you have of your settings or the subject that you have been taking. So again, Gustavo Ugueto 2 at gmail.com, correct? So if you forget about this, you have to watch the video or go back to the last part of the video and look for that email address.
And don't cheat to jump to the end.
All right. So that's what I have, Mr. Jeff. I think we are about to get to the time. Yes, we did our time.
It's that time for in the old days where the American flag would pop up and sound from the TV set, and you were done.
And you will see the American Indians.
That's right. That's right. But
all right.
thank all of you that stuck with us tonight and came and visited. And you know, I mean, sometimes these off the cuff general discussions are a lot of fun. I mean, it makes us kind of like keeps us on our feet to keep the flow going and pick each other's brains and look at what's going on in the chat and pull in topics to talk about and kind of changes things up a little bit. So sometimes when we don't have presentations, it works out pretty good. But I thank everybody for being here. I thank everybody on the panel who's here now and who was here earlier that had to leave. Thank everybody for coming. And as Gustavo said, I won't be here for August 1st, but any images I get, if you send anything after the let's see here.
Before.
If you send me something by mistake on July 29th, you're out of luck. It's not going to make it to Gustavo. So
you
want to send it to Gustavo. And that's about it. That's all I got to say, other than get out there and shoot and hopefully survive the heat or the cold, depending on where you live, and have a good time. Have a good time.
All right. So thank you guys.
Okie dokie.
And Jeff, we can call it done.
Done. It's a
Done.
it's a take. It's a take.
Yay. See you next Wednesday, guys.
Where's my little thing? It goes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're done.
You need to get one of those from your.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get one, even just for a joke. It'd just be fun to just at the end of every show just go.
And on the beginning too.
Take one. Thank you guys. Bye bye.